welcome back to Valverde Broadcasting with me, Zoidberg, and me, Duncan Casey, and of course Richard Jackson.
Hello, everybody.
Back once again with the Renegade Master.
Default damage and power to the people. Press 1 now. I don't know why I'm doing that.
This commentary is a fucking disaster. Welcome to what is our second commentary here at Valverde Broadcasting. Obviously, it's our third overall after you did one with Frank.
Did one with Frank, yep.
And did it have his teeth wiggling? Anytime I hear the name Frank, I go, Frank.
Got my teeth wiggling.
Cool, which was really groovy. So we are doing a commentary on Paul Verhoeven's Starship Troopers. That great opus of... When did this come out? Like 98?
98, yeah. Better check. Satirical kind of anti-fascist opus, really. And just fun action flick and effects spectacle and such like.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. There's a lot to say about this one.
I am as well, yeah. I remember when it came out, and I would have been 14, so not old enough to see it. But I did. I mean, I saw it not in the cinema, but I remember seeing it on Verse. Probably about a year or so later. And thinking it was awesome, really, really cool. But it's a film that actually, as I've now got it on Blu-ray, it holds up really well. The effects hold up incredibly well.
Yeah, very nicely made. And there's loads and loads of really big stuff shot on location, practical effects in terms of, and costumes and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it holds up really well. It was famous at the time because I think this is one of the first things that leaked onto like the internet. So Ain't It Cool News got hold of some of the bug designs and stuff and posted them up. So it's kind of one of the first sort of shots fired in the internet versus film production kind of battleground. But,
nice. Well, okay. Oh, yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, I mean, the end of the 90s was quite a creative time, I think, for a lot of things, and it came out in that kind of Independence Day, Armageddon, that kind of
kind of tentpole spectacle type thing.
Was it well received at the time? I can't remember.
People just kind of went, it's fascist, and it's like, no, it's satirical.
Yeah,
I think like it kind of got middling reviews. I think it's come to be appreciated more, but a lot of reviewers took it at face value.
Right,
and it's like, it so balls out, you morons. Like, of course, it's not actually fascist. That's the joke.
Yeah, I know. Well, how you can think the maker of RoboCop would be pro-fascist? Like what? Like 10 years later, he decided that shit I've had enough.
Change my mind.
American Jesus. Let's get cracking, shall we, guys? If you are syncing your copy with ours, we've mine seems to have this huge big blank screen at the start, but basically I've got it to the first ident, which I think is basically the start of it.
Yeah. So get on the first ident with the white line
and hit play now.
Ach, mein Gott. Buena Vista International.
Buena Vista International, man.
You know.
Hurrah!
So this is TriStar and Touchstone, which just basically means Sony. So
right.
This series is still going under it's kind of nice that Ed Neumeyer has kind of kept this going under his own kind of auspices and different formats. There's animated ones that he writes and stuff. He directed a live action one.
Oh, no.
I mean, look at that in terms of that shot. Like, it's incredible. The thing. So quite a lot of this propaganda stuff is kind of the one-to-one references to Leni Riefenstahl's Triumph of the Will. So they're literal recreations of fascist propaganda.
Right.
Like, that's the point.
That's the joke.
There are eagles everywhere. Everyone's wearing kind of Nazi-style uniforms. So it's this kind of, invocation of Nazi fascism. That's kind of the point. But it's played. And part of the point, the joke and the fun of it is that it's played straight. So it seems like it's endorsing this stuff, and really it's satirising it as good satire does.
Actually, funnily enough, in the era of Armageddon, having that as an opening thing with a meteor that just gets shot out of the sky, it's quite a sort of almost a fun poke at them. But I love all this stuff. It's sort of done it's framed up in a sort of Star Warsy way, but it has all those like whip pans and zooms and the stuff like that like cover it in a much more interesting kind of wider scope kind of way. It's quite cool.
Yeah, because all the spacey stuff's really cool. It does feel like Star Wars because it's got that kind of grey gunmetal type.
Right.
I forgot about this because there's this kind of time skip thing because this is the invasion of Klendathu, right? Or is it P? I can't remember getting my planets right, but it kind of shows this, and then it goes like a year earlier or whatever.
It does really well at setting up the bugs as being these really like, and I don't know if that's because the propaganda's working on me, but it sets them up as this really like horrible, nasty force, and they are really brutally violent as well, you know.
But they are just kind of a force of nature, though, and I think a lot of it, if you read between the lines, the subtext is that, despite what the propaganda says, the humans have agitated them and come into their space, and you know, it's kind of like it's expansionist, and they've. Again, if you read between the lines, it seems to be there rather than the bug. Because the thing of the bugs flinging rocks at Earth and stuff, you've got to kind of question how true that is.
Right.
Stuff like that, like it's fucking great, like really good.
Yeah.
So this shares so much with RoboCop. So obviously the director, Eos Vakano's doing cinematography. You've got John Davison producing, Ed Newmeyer writing, Basil Polidorus doing the music, and then it's kind of satirical intent as well. It very clearly, you know, there's a bit of MS Paint on an iPad. It's very clearly, you know, in terms of its satirical intent and stuff, I think it's kind of a spiritual successor. There's the mighty Michael Ironside, Doogie Howser MD.
Oh yeah. And this one, he already starts off missing a limb.
Yeah, exactly. Ironside, de-limbed Ironside.
Didn't he lose his legs at one point as well?
Well, he loses his legs later, and the machinist, he loses an arm.
That's right.
I think there's other. Total Recall.
Total Recall.
See what the party rigged her. 90s babe Denise Richards.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about The World Is Not Enough the other day, weren't we?
Yeah.
There you go.
Man, they've got a real life. Much like Star Trek, civilian fashions are really horrible.
Yeah.
Not as horrible as Star Trek. They're particularly horrible. So have you read this book? You read the book of this?
No.
I have. It's okay. So Paul Verhoeven read this book. Actually, Paul Verhoeven says, I think he says he got 2 chapters in and got bored. He really hated it because he felt that it was ugly and fascist. So he just got Ed Newmeyer to describe the plot to him. Because this character, like Radchek, they combine 2 characters, so the teacher and him as the kind of leader of the Roughnecks are 2 individual people.
Okay.
Dizzy Flores, played by Dina Meyer, is a guy who's in it for 1 page and then dies.
Oh, right.
So the book's really markedly different, and they go around in giant mech suits and stuff. But many people have interpreted the book as kind of an endorsement of... Because I don't know, say about what you like about Robert Heinlein, but it seems to be endorsing the kind of militaristic lifestyle and kind of... the big long tracks when characters are just talking to the reader, it's saying how we need to have the reader saying we need to have a strong leader, and it's all a bit sketchy. Yeah. So it's kind of designed to satirise the book.
Okay.
Essentially, so it's a satirical take on the book, which is quite interesting because, in terms of adaptation, to sort of actively take the piss out of something.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, how you pitch that and go like, this source material that we've got to think to. I want to take the piss out of it.
This is a great kind of under the radar thing in that I think it's kind of like, oh hey Sony, so we want to make the giant bug space adventure movie. It's like, okay, and then the rest of it just kind of goes under the radar.
Right.
Before you know it, you've got like Clancy Brown running around dressed as a Nazi or whatever. So I think there's something that kind of occurred to me. Well, something I saw recently. Have you ever seen Kiss Me Deadly, the adaptation of Mickey Spillane?
No.
Okay, so
badly read.
Sorry. So Movie Bob made this point, which really annoyed me because he did a video about it, and I already wrote a whole essay about it 10 years ago. And it's like, I don't think Movie Bob's going through ARU's archives to read essays from people who never know. Just coincidence. But Kiss Me Deadly, when they adapted that, it's Mickey Spillane who did kind of hard-boiled kind of noir novels. And when they adapted it to the original screen version, they really hated the book. So the film satirises the character. It's called Mike Hammer, and they make Mike Hammer to be a prick. And the whole adaptation is satirising the source material because they just didn't like it. Yeah. So he's kind of this ineffectual meathead. It's the only other example I can think of between that and this, where the adaptation is sort of this sly sort of undoing of the source material.
Okay, yeah.
And Kiss Me Deadly is like a great movie as well. It's got all kinds of like Red Scare in it and nuclear panic and whatnot.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, get out of here, Doogie Howser MD, with your pet ferret or whatever the fuck.
That's the thing with a Verhoeven film, though, is that you've always got to kind of like, I don't know, it always feels like everything's deliberate. Like, I don't, like, even in that early stage, it's shot like a freaking episode of Dawson's Creek, but it's like, that's the point, isn't it? It's to show this sort of
Well, this is
contrast between this horrible, like, this bug
this
autopsy.
is kind of, and it's also kind of the film these people would make.
Yeah.
Because the kind of like Nuremberg 90210 sort of vibe to it is part of the point, because they're all sort of like shiny white teeth and good looking and stuff, and he's like a football star and everything. It's all it's so balls out. This stuff's great. The practical bug.
Yeah.
I think does she quite graphically vomit here? I think you see her sort of chunder.
She looks very much like a sort of Nazi doctor, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's sort of like if there was a anime about Nazi scientists. That's what she'd look like. Well, she's gonna
flopping around. And she's blind as well, right? Which presumably means something, I would have thought.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, because that's the thing, because to hold any standing in this society, you have to have performed some kind of military service, and they're all kind of maimed.
Yeah,
so she looks like she's had like acid in her face or something. Obviously, Radchek's missing an arm.
Yeah,
there's that great sly little joke. It's kind of like later he's like, "Oh, that's really gross." That's so good. That's what I like about Verhoeven. He's not afraid to just be completely visceral.
It's straight in the
because that was fucked up, chunky vom.
Yeah,
that was really not nice.
And it's funny because I suppose if you were criticising this film on a just on a surface level, you'd be like, well, these were really like caricaturish. They seem on the surface like thinly drawn characters, but it's like, isn't that the point? Like,
it's supposed to be cartoonish. It's all part of the satirical intent, and just that's he never really took off as a star, but that's why Casper Van Dien is such a genius piece of casting, because he's like this absurdly Ken dollish human. And to put him, and he comes off as kind of a bit flat and a bit kind of dopey, but that really works because he's supposed to be this essentially two-dimensional rule-following dope.
It's a ferret.
Cyrano.
Yeah, it's funny with Casper Van Dien because he didn't really.
Never really happened for him, did it?
Well, I mean, obviously it happened for him more than it did for me.
Oh yeah, of course. He's doing all right, man. He's absolutely doing all right.
You would think he would have. I mean, I'm not sure what he's doing at the moment.
I think he does TV and things like that. Well, he's been voicing Johnny Rico, and he came back.
Nice.
So like Ed Neumeyer's kind of kept it going on. No, man, he's in the third one as live action.
Right.
But then they did a couple of animated ones without him, but then he's come back, and Dina Meyer came back as well.
Okay.
So now he's like General Rico, and he's got an eye patch and like grey hair and stuff.
Nice.
And it's kind of nice because Ed Neumeyer's shepherded them. I'm not really a fan or anything, but I think it's nice that he's got this thing that he's continued on with.
Yeah. I mean, it does. This film very much has that kind of universe building. I mean, I guess because we've got our Star Treks and Star Warses and all those things, it's like you don't need it. But it's like it does feel very complete as a world. There's a lot of that sort of stuff as well, isn't there? That sort of superhuman thing where that guy like just did a big fucking flip in the air. And it's like that. What?
Well, they just teed up the fact that there are psychics in this kind of universe. I like that as well. That Johnny Rico is shown to have no psychic ability whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it kind of plays into the broader characterization of him not really having a lot going on behind the eyes.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have this kind of cognitive ability, which basically adds up to guessing cards. See, this guy, it's like he makes me think of some kind of failed experiment to clone Bill Paxton. So I've always thought that he's got this kind of
sort of Bill Paxton and I don't know, like, who would you say?
He's a kebab shop owner.
No, oh fuck! Damn it! My brain today is not working as it should be.
Well, you were drinking last night.
That's true.
Yeah,
like that. It was impossibly strong.
As well.
Yeah. What's what? Fuck. The Fly.
What? Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I see.
Fucking hell, my brain is not.
Jeff Paxblue. Brundlefly Paxblue.
Yeah. Game over.
It never occurred to me it was like a mixed gender sports team.
Yeah, everything is, isn't it? That's the weird thing about this society is like there's no gender boundary.
Well, that's the thing. They are blatantly fascist, but it's kind of egalitarian in that sense. There's no race and gender is not an issue.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like because it's the anti-Star Trek really in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Because like Star Trek's kind of like this post-scarcity kind of diplomatic sort of liberally space adventure, whereas this is like the fascist version, which still, again, it shares that baseline of having, it seems to be Earth seems to be doing quite well, but we don't see the rest of it, but it is kind of egalitarian in certain ways. But then again, not, because you have to serve in order to receive citizenship and be able to vote and hold certain jobs and stations in society. She's
there's an episode of Futurama that kind of takes it off with the bouncing balls. You know, when they go and they have a war against the bouncing balls. And, and Fry enlists and stuff like that. And Leela's basically his guardian angel, but pretending to be a man the whole time.
So the guy who plays Rico's dad, he always looks like he's about to be shot in the head to me, because he looks like the 80s extra that plays someone who gets shot. And whenever I watch this film, I always expect his face to explode. Like, he's just got the look of the guy who's got a
black circle to appear in his forehead, just like spray out the back.
He looks like he's got mortician's wax on his face or something, and he's just gonna. Anyway, sorry.
That Futurama thing where they get, what, isn't it? Is it Hans Blix or whatever? Like has his head in a jar, not Hans Blix. Henry Kissinger or something, like has to negotiate a truce with the bat, and he goes, please, we don't want any more body bags or ball sacks. And Bender somehow is there negotiating as well, and it's just being an asshole. That's where if he says his top 10 words or whatever, his ass will explode and
right.
And it's like Zap Brannigan going like daffodil, like he reads off the list. It's like pimp mobile, number 2. Shiny. Because what was it? It's top 4 or whatever, like Kiss, or top 5 and Kiss My Shiny Metal Ass.
That's it. I think Casper Van Dien should be James Bond.
Because he put on a tux once in a film
20 years ago.
So the whole Bryan Cranston should be Lex Luthor because bald. He
would boss that though.
He would, yeah, he would. He totally would. But he would boss most things. But it's just that isn't in and of itself a reason to cast him.
See, this film to me is marked out by these huge, densely populated crowd scenes.
Right.
Be that with bugs or people, battlefields, parties.
That's true.
Games. There's always, this world always feels full. And it's in the tradition of using things full title. Have you watched Starship Troopers 2, Hero of the Federation?
I have, but it was one of those, A, I drank too much when I watched it, and B, I didn't pay much attention.
You probably just felt like
it was on really late. Yeah, true. Yeah, it was really hard to follow for me, but that's because I think I just got bored.
No, it's a terrible movie. So Phil Tippett worked on this, did with Robocop as well. Phil Tippett directed Starship Troopers 2. Hero of the Federation. And it all takes place in one bunker, and it's just everything's lit with red and blue gels, and it's so claustrophobic. And I get it, because on a minimal budget, it's like they do a kind of body snatchers type thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is so. I hesitate to use the word epic because I think it's been ruined, but it has epic scope. I'm not saying it's fucking David Lean, but it's sort of vistas and pack scenes, and then it's just sort of like 3 rooms and some kind of half-baked intrigue.
Yeah.
You know? And Starship Troopers 3 tries its best to sort of, expand it a bit. And there's some funny shit in Starship Troopers 3. Like, Ed Newman brings some funny stuff to that script. Like, there's things about reality TV. There's like the Sky Marshal's like a reality TV winner. Like, he's like a singer that had won like their version of X Factor or whatever. And, there's stuff about executions and things. And it's quite, it's quite fun. It's kind of bad, but it's quite fun. Starship Troopers 3, Marauder. And in the book of this, like, they all get around, the mobile infantry are called that because they all get around in individual mech suits. And there's loads of description of how you operate the mech suit with your mouth and stuff, which meant the Japanese were really, really keen. So there's a fairly, I think it's quite big, animated adaptation of Starship Troopers, like an anime. Because it's really Japanese. It's like, the mech suits.
Yeah.
Bugs,
Sort of Edge of Tomorrow type.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah. Still looks like a 90s party to me, man.
Yeah, but, it's kind of what I like about it as well, is like, they are all kind of lame.
Yeah.
They're kind of lame-ass white bread, shit music, shit party.
Look at his hair.
Yeah,
what the fuck is going on with that? It's like a fucking palm tree top, like it's like a smaller version of Sideshow Bob.
Well, it's like one of those action figures that's got punched in nylon hair. It's just been sat under a radiator for 3 months or something.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Obviously, this is all supposed to mean that he should be with, what's her name, Dizzy?
Dizzy's the other one, yeah.
Dizzy's the other one. It's like, like they're with the wrong people and like, they should be together. And
something apparently that was sort of test screenings. They had to retool the love triangle, and people objected to certain ways things were done and stuff. And so Denise Richards has a strange. It's like she's quite annoying in this, in that there are whole scenes where she just sits there grinning. So she's just got this massive smile on. It's like, you're not acting, you're just smiling.
Do you know where you are?
Denise.
Oh yeah, that's me.
That's my name.
Do you know where you are? First AD, Alan Ford. Action. The bugs are coming. Now, I've turned into David Frost.
Do you know what citizenship means?
Let's see what's through the keyhole.
Oh, I wonder how much our audience are going to get through the keyhole.
Well, you know what.
David Frost.
And so I did.
So that flag's a very subtle indicator.
I don't know what it means.
What could that possibly mean? Interesting colour palette as well. Again, going back
United
to kind of
colours of Benetton type.
Right, exactly.
Sort of. Well, it is that thing of like, here is Anne clothed. Like, it's like, it's sort of just like if a computer designed. They look like something out of what was the Sims or whatever,
Yeah, right. Well,
no logo.
In terms of the design, they're all kind of like these bland ding dongs. Yeah. So the great little sly joke here is like, oh well, it may be the man I am today, and he's like lost 3 of his limbs.
Yeah, he stands up, doesn't he? He's got like robotic legs.
Oh no, I think he pushes away. He's just got stumps.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's a cool. I like the robot hand.
Yeah.
It's the thing of things of that era though. It has to be bigger than a real hand, so it's enormous. Like,
quite Jerry Anderson in a way. It's that sort of like
Bruce Campbell's hand in Army of Darkness, which he just makes out of an old armour. So he made a robot hand that works.
Out of an armour.
At armour.
Yeah, at armour.
At armour. You made that out of at armour. Also, I don't have a willy.
I was just going to say that he blew my dick clean off.
Bugs ate my dick.
What's the lawyer in that episode of Futurama where the guy's defending Zoidberg because Zoidberg ate the flag or whatever, and he's like, and his lawyer's this old timey whatever.
Yeah.
It's and he's like, I'd shake my fist at you if I hadn't lost it, and like literally had no part of him hadn't been blown off by war.
It's your kind of To Kill a Mockingbird Southern lawyer.
Yeah.
Thing.
And then the other one's like that chicken or whatever. He's just trying to feed his kids.
I don't know about any fancy $5 words. He's about to be shot in the head. He's constantly about to be shot. I think that's just a weird thing that I have about this. But I've always thought, he's a classic. He's such a Verhoeven-looking actor as well.
Yeah,
sort of like, if there was a somehow cheaper Rutger Hauer. All this stuff on location. I believe it's the States. I'm not going to reach myself and say where. It could be Nevada, California. I would assume California.
It's got to be around there, isn't it?
But look at that. All the extras. It's fucking nuts.
That's expensive as fuck to do as well.
Right, exactly. Like, all these people are getting paid and fed and shipped around and stuff.
Put in costume. All those costumes will be provided.
United Colour of Benetton costume.
Yeah. They'll be placed as well, because all that stuff will be deliberate. It'll be like, I want more blues and greens over there, and I want
greens,
Reg,
Jesus
over there,
American Jesus, Space Jesus, Jesus, Bug Jesus,
yeah, bang boom, starts yelling shit. But that's all very deliberate. All the placing of people, like even there in the background, that little thing. Look, there's a guy in a mauve and a blue thing walking up, and you won't have 2 people in the same colour next to each other. All that sort of shit, I
mean, quite coming to think of it, many of these shots are populated with people because the whole training section, there's always people running around in the background.
Yeah,
like there's not a lot of. There's a distinct lack of intimacy in this film, except for when it's done on purpose. So like these kind of close-ups of lots of kissing.
Yeah,
there's a sex scene later.
Is it?
Yeah,
kind of.
dizzy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she gets her boobs out, and they you don't. Okay, there's a foreplay scene then, I guess.
I must admit, I was quite disappointed that there wasn't full penetration.
I wanted penetration, anal, vaginal. I don't mind, just penetration.
Bit of armpit, really. I don't mind at all. I was just a bit. I was perturbed by the fact that.
This week on Ozzy Osbourne reviews.
Penetration. Shut up!
Is this? I think. Is this like a mega lift? Look, watch this. I think it kind of.
Yeah, it goes like. Yeah,
you can see the join because of that fake sheen.
Yeah,
but it's kind of cool the way it zaps off like that. He goes in a back.
She would have gone like. Yeah. Sorry. He goes what?
I forgot. I done forgot.
I plumb forgot.
See,
that's another thing of like. He's obviously saying something with that. Like, is it? They're fighting over a gun.
Fantastic.
Like,
so
there's like
good.
no one seems to have any. There's no sort of consequence to violence, if you know what I mean. Like it's kind of like no one seems to fear violence.
Ed Niemeyer cameo as the guy being executed.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
This is so good. I can't remember what his crime. It's 6 p.m. Yeah, it's just these are great because it's the same trick that RoboCop does.
Yeah.
In that it shows you pieces of the media, which is really great world building.
Would you say
shows you this kind of horrible?
It's kind of a spiritual successor in a way because it comes
100%
10 years later. You know, it's sort of a.
I 100% view it as a complete as a kind of companion piece. They're perfect.
I can totally see RoboCop in this world. Oh, this is fucking
horrible. That's what I like. It's just like these little vignettes show you that in this world, life is cheap and violence is king.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it's the outcome of this violent society. So for Joe Smith, I think what they're trying to say here is that this was a colony of Mormons.
Oh, okay.
I think that's, as I remember, what's supposed to have been going on here.
Fucking
so they've
hell,
gone and set up on the bug world and kind of, Yeah, I know. Look at that
so
carnage. It's great.
So just like, and it's on TV. You're effectively watching
and,
like regular.
And 6 o'clock tonight, there's going to be an execution. I mean, look at this. Like, just look at all the moving parts in the scene. It's incredible.
Absolutely.
It's not just people running around in the background. It's the people in the tent behind. I can't think of much else really quite like it in modern stuff.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, because a lot of these sorts of scenes that are done in modern or like even older films and stuff, there's not that much going on around them, is there? Like, it's sort of, if you imagine like your Forrest Gumps or your.
I've said this before, but for posterity's sake, if you take away the southern accent, that's Judge Dredd. He's just. There's a great scene in the pit where he lines up a bunch of judges for a roll call.
Right.
And it's kind of like this. He doesn't break anyone's arm or anything, but it's similar. It's just the attitude and the look. Is this where he breaks? It's his arm he breaks, right? Because it's Jake. Oh, not here then. Jake Busey gets the
knife in the hand.
If you disable like that guy, I love how that guy pulls the rod out as he chases.
Yeah. Keep getting whacked with a rod.
So you got So Jos Vacano was kind of Verhoeven's guy, and him and Verhoeven and the way they kind of pick their shots.
Yeah.
There's cinematography. There's loads of movement in it. There's not as many. There are quite a few long takes, but they're not as noticeable as the ones in RoboCop. But there's loads of movement within these frames, and all this stuff kind of the backgrounds go kind of 3 or 4 layers deep. I think.
Yeah.
It's very clean. I don't see a lot of kind of. There's not a lot of bokeh. It seems like they're shooting at a kind of narrow aperture, so you kind of get all that detail. It's not. Okay, too soon. Still got a broken leg.
Yeah, true. Did it make that noise?
Oh, it's the red.
Yeah.
Oh,
means the bone's gone through.
The blood. Oh god.
Then they put it in a casting that heals it really quickly.
Yeah, like a mega cast.
Yeah.
Well, they have the Bacta from.
That's right.
From Star Wars, because when Johnny's in that tank later on.
That's right.
It's like, you're dead.
She's mad for that Johnny.
I transferred in for Johnny's dick.
Johnny D.
And Johnny D. It's funny because they're all because they're from Buenos Aires, right?
Yeah.
But it's like this society where it's a kind of quite an evenly distributed mixture of races. It seems so.
Yeah, it's almost like that doesn't matter anymore. We all kind of just live anywhere.
Global society or something.
Yeah.
And but in the book, so he's Juan Rico.
Okay.
Jonathan. So they all have kind of Hispanic names and stuff. So I don't know what that's all about. But I must confess as well, it's been a while since I read the book.
She looks fucking cool though. That's the sort of.
Yeah, she's wicked in this.
Yeah, I'd be like, why fuck Denise Richards? I'd be like,
yeah, totally.
All about the dizzy, man.
Johnny's a mug.
She ends up with that massive bruise on her neck as well, doesn't she?
It's just like again, and it's Oh, would you like some more pink?
Yeah. Look, his arm's perfectly fine just because he's in that thing now.
Blue thing. It's kind of it's just, again, it's a society where life is cheap. Not life is cheap, but kind of violence is king. You know.
Yeah.
Jake Busey. Yeah. Busey in the house.
A fucking alien. That's his dad.
Him in The Predator was such a waste.
Oh god, yeah.
Because he's supposed to be, you know, but like,
like get it, but it's not used in any way, is it? They just say his name's Keys.
I understand there was more.
Well, of course there was. But that's the prevailing narrative with all these things now. It's like, oh, but there was more. Oh, but there was more than that. But it was cut. It's like, what, you cut it to make it shitter, did you? Like, why? Like, what? And what was the profound thing? And then you'll find out on some DVD that's released in a year's time that, like, and actually it wasn't. It was just like, my dad found one of these once. It's like, right, great.
So as you pointed out, look at that bruise. It's horrible. It's an enormous purple bruise on it.
Well, she slowly gets sort of deconstructed, doesn't she, Dizzy, to the point where she is literally like, didn't she get like something? Did she get stabbed through the chest?
I think it's like she's kind of bleeding out. And
it's a really horrible death. So she's really good in this. I remember she was in Friends as well.
Oh, she was?
But I don't remember what else she did after this. But she's a really good actor.
She's returned to this series, and I think she's like a ghost or something. I don't know. But she's really great in this. She's probably one of the best performances. That and, you know, Clancy.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's great in this. I've just got a boner for him anyway.
That would really fucking hurt to fall backwards off that thing. Like,
rather that than a broken arm or a knife in the hand. Here we go.
Yeah.
Put your hand on that. Well, I love this. The setup to it as well. It's like it looks like, you know, in anything else, like the blade would like go between his fingers.
Yeah,
it's like no, he's fucking
straight for that. And there's all the dents in it for he's obviously been doing it before. Like,
loads of recruits just getting
He does it so proficiently as well. Like, just like bang.
The idea of Starship Trooper 2, Hero of the Federation, was that there's like the kind of fugitive guy. Well, not fugitive, but the criminal sergeant. It was supposed to be Sergeant Zim. But Clancy wouldn't come back, so they had to make up a character. So it was supposed to be, because he kind of redeems himself, whatever. This is full of great Verhoeven blood shit. Like,
yeah, you know, he's just got his arm in that wall, like, you know, because the wall's changed. If you look at it behind it, it's now a bit different. Like,
great, one
great
take.
Work. Yeah.
So this scene,
this is a great.
The kind of courage shower scene. These guys apparently nudity. They would only do it if Verhoeven directed this scene naked. So apparently he was behind the camera, bonnet naked.
Of course.
So it's a middle-aged Dutch
I'm
man.
Dutch, of course.
Of course, I'm naked all the time.
Yeah. Jesus was naked.
Naked Jesus.
Again with the Jesus.
So many boobs. Boobs all the way.
So many boobs, so little time.
All right.
But again, it's that matter of factness, isn't it? It's that thing of like death, violence, nudity. Like, it's all just so sort of like, whatever. Like, no one.
Yeah, it's just blasé. It just kind of means nothing to them. It's
that girl's got a hand in one of those blue things as well. Like, it's like, I don't know what happened there.
Oh no, that was.
Was that Busey?
That's Busey.
Oh, okay.
This hand. The redhead on the right. I swear I recognise her from something else.
Him as well. That guy, the guy got his arm broke. That
big meathead guy.
And whose arm is fine now. Like,
yeah. Is he the one that gets shot in the head?
I don't know.
The big lunk.
Could be.
I think he's the one that gets killed. Bibs.
Boobs.
Boobs. Featuring Bibs. Maybe I've got some boobs. Let's do a sex.
We should totally do a sex.
We should totally do a sex. This doesn't have enough willies in it. I think you should balance it out with loads of willies. Man bums.
Willies aren't the same as boobs, though. Well, just the balls. Just cupping their willies, but you see the ball.
Just one ball. There's a scene where Johnny Rico just pulls one ball out his fly.
Yeah.
This is fake. Do you know? Remember in Orgasmo, because it's all set around porno.
Yeah.
Every time you're about to see female nudity, a man's ass comes into shot. It's really great.
Yeah, I need to watch that film again. I've watched that since I was a teenager.
I've got like a super duper DVD, Region 1 DVD somewhere with loads of extras. Yeah, great movie, you know.
This is sort of Aliens-esque, isn't it? Like, they're all kind of...
Well, and that, you know, Aliens itself is clearly influenced by Starship Troopers. There's all talk about going on the bug hunt and stuff like that, and it's kind of...
okay, so what, the book came out before?
Oh, God, the book's from, like, the 50s.
Okay.
Oh, God, yeah, no, it's quite influential, because Harry Harrison did a... because Harry Harrison used to kind of... He was on that era of writers, and he would parody stuff, and he did... There's Amy Smart here in quite a small role.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, he did a film called like Bill the Galactic Hero, and it's a direct parody of this book. And it's oddly enough as well. You know the mobile infantry armor with the helmets and stuff.
Yeah.
Constantly reused in different films.
That's true. Yeah.
So there's one with Gary Sinise Gary Sinise, which is a Philip K. Dick adaptation. Like, is it Imposter or something? And yeah, all the people in that wear the armor. And there's a few other films where it turns up kind of spray painted.
Right.
So, but now, kind of finally appreciating this as how many fucking extras and costumes are in it. I bet they wanted their bloody money's worth.
Yeah. No, fair play.
So is this kind of like
she just
a
doesn't.
ring?
The thing's going the other way to the way she turned the things. Like, she can't even pretend fly a plane.
She's just constantly grinning. That's her performance.
Yeah.
She's going to do this.
I think she's happy today.
Oh, she's kind of grimacing a bit there.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff where, yeah, I mean, this still looks pretty great, but you can see the joins because it's 20-year-old CGI.
Yeah, it just looks a bit flat. Like,
it's fake, but it's 20-year-olds.
That must be a model, though, right? That's got to be.
It's only a model. I don't know, mate. Actually, I must say, someone will know. But
it's either a scanned model or a model. I think.
Space us, ship us. Yeah. So the kind of stuff. In space is quite Star Trek-y.
Yeah.
I mean, the ships look more like a Star Wars thing, like a Star Destroyer or something.
Yeah.
But like when they're on the bridge, it's kind of like your fascist Star
Wars. The procedurals of it are all quite Trekky, but the
visuals are a bit more. The visuals are a bit.
There's
more
actually
Star
something
Wars.
that it's kind of got the Event Horizon-y type, but obviously less like it's going to kill you. But there is a sort of.
I can never remember the captain of the ship. I can never remember what else I've seen her in. It always bugs me. I never look it up.
She looks a bit like the woman who's in Seinfeld. Not Seinfeld. I've not really watched much Seinfeld. Or wasn't she in Everybody Loves Raymond?
Oh man, Seinfeld in particular is this thing where like everyone was in it.
Yeah.
Like at one point or another. So like Cranston was in it and stuff. And
that chair you can kind of see was like
paper mache.
Yeah, it's like come out of a mould and not particularly well. Like
kind of wasn't so noticeable on tape.
Yeah.
4x3. Ugh, what a waste. Senseless waste. Not that we knew the difference.
We know the difference, son. You kids, you don't know you're born. But now you're rotating everything into a portrait configuration because you're monsters.
I used to think it was a complete swizz when things came out in widescreen on VHS because I was like, we're taking away more of the screen from it.
It's just black bars.
Complete non-comprehension.
Yeah.
I was exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's a fucking swindle.
It's like, no, you're a cretin.
Yeah.
And there you go. So yeah, this is your kind of Star Trek take her out of dock, thing.
Yeah. She cut it really fine. It's really weird with her character because she's sort of made out to be this spod, who she got her 97% on all her things and stuff like that. But then she does all this sort of reckless stuff where she does things
suddenly
last
acts
minute.
like a hotshot.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose she's just supposed to be like a shit hot pilot, but it's like you're kind of being a dick about it. I would expect you to be kind of cautious and careful.
Well, she's not. I don't think she's supposed to be particularly sympathetic. I do think there is a certain degree of that Denise Richards does understand, which is that she's,
Well, again, this is the thing that apparently was an issue in test screenings. People just didn't like her, and they kind of thought that morally she was kind of, not great because of her relationships to certain characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Great shots here, though.
Yeah.
And it's a film that does, takes its time. It's not choppy. Even in the action, it's not particularly choppy. You kind of get quite clear coverage. When it's supposed to be frenetic, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all the battle scenes and stuff like that really do.
It's quite, and this does takes a kind of tonal shift on purpose in that it's that kind of thing that, war and military service is a fun, jolly adventure that we should all sign up to, which is kind of like how the British Army used to.
Oh yeah, like
so
World War One.
Do to a degree, but World War One, where it's kind of like, it's a jolly adventure, and go and serve the king.
Tally ho!
Go through training, meet all these friends, do all this stuff, have an adventure, and then suddenly watch them brutally die because you're out of your depth.
Yeah.
So like when they go to, I'll get the planets mixed up, when they go to P or Clendeth or whatever, and it's the bit that was flashed to at the beginning, and it all goes to shit. Like straight away, and it's horrible, and they're just not ready for it because they're constantly told that they're amazing and they're part of the best army in the world, and the bugs are evil, and they turn up and just get fucking wrecked.
Yeah.
This is kind of fun. And oh man, they have that scene where they're literally recruiting children because they've run out of recruits. It's just like fucking Jesus. I want to play it. This game looks wicked.
It does, yeah.
I do want to play this game.
You've been paintballing, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't like electrocute the other people, and you don't get
No,
like,
hurts. It can hurt like fuck. I once it went in the gap between my mask and in my neck.
Oh,
Went straight in my Adam's apple. I was like, fucking hurt. That did.
I tell you what, it's when they bounce off.
Yeah, that's worse.
Fucking Jesus.
Yeah.
And also if it gets a bit of flab.
yeah.
Oh man, because when I was in hospital, like, I'm totally fine with needles, not a problem. I mean, being stabbed hurts, but I'm not bothered. But the worst ones are where they put them in my fat dad bod. It's like you've got loads to get through to get to the meat, and it just kills. Put it in my arm, fine. Put it in my chunky spare tyre.
Yeah, when I was in hospital, they put fucking cannulas in like my elbow, like in there in a joint. It's like, stop putting it in a fucking joint. I can't move my hand. Like, put it in the back of my hand.
I had one in there and in my hand on the same arm, and it's like, for fuck's sake, guys, make your mind up.
Sorry, they're doing their job. I'm
they kind of literally saved my life.
Exactly.
So I should probably really be a little bit more grateful.
Whinging about putting a cannula.
Oh, my free medicine was shit.
Don't comment.
No, fuck off. I've already used the word fascism, so I've probably got someone telling me I want white genocide. I'm fine. Thanks, leave me alone. We're watching this space adventure bug movie.
Yeah, see, Dizzy's the sexy one.
Yeah, she is.
Without doubt.
But Denise Richards is definitely top 90s.
Denise Richards does give good Denise Richards.
Gives good Denise Richards. I think, times have changed. As older men, we're sort of looking at Dizzy going, yeah, Dizzy's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where he gets his fucking Dear John, innit? By
Dear John.
By mini DVD, by GameCube game.
Yeah.
The medium of GameCube.
Hi, Johnny.
I have a 35mm camera in my room. She lives in Lister's quarters from Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Howdy, doodly doo. Why would you watch this in front of everyone? Yeah, he's trying to show off his bird who's just about to fucking dump him.
Like, she's had it shot as well.
That's creative choices.
Yeah.
It needs a star wipe.
It's like, what is this, some sort of infomercial you're doing for him?
Have you tried Jupiter?
Yeah.
It's definitely the other guy, the other dude shot it for her.
Yeah. He's behind the camera with his knob out.
Just generally strumming.
Isn't there a reflection in the window behind her of a man's face? Oh, it's his, right?
It's Johnny on the glass,
it's
yeah.
On the okay, yeah.
Dude, why would you watch it in front? I would never, just in case this happened, call me sort of dire and paranoid.
Because she got her tits out and or dump me on.
Yeah, I mean, both would make the bitter pill slightly sweeter to swallow. But
why have they got like DVD players and TVs in the headrest of their beds as well? That seems a bit fucking pointless. Like, it means you have to sit the other way around on your bed to watch TV.
A system of GameCube discs. That being said, it's all Sony, isn't it? So
yeah,
PlayStation.
Again, it sort of speaks to the times, isn't it? This idea that we'd all be sending physical media to each other. It's like, no, you wouldn't. You just transmit that shit, wouldn't you?
Space future, man.
Yeah.
Space year 2018.
And she'd have said that to him live. Like, they just would have had a FaceTime.
They got holographic dog tags as well.
Yeah.
The future. Everybody watches Visionaries, and I don't know what year this is supposed to be set. It's going to be like 2109. It doesn't
2012 205. Yeah.
It doesn't matter, does it really?
No.
I kind of find often, unless there's something tied to it, usually the year of things is quite arbitrary.
Yeah, there are a few things that use it well.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if it's trying to place you in a place, then it's fine. But
yeah,
like,
and to give you distance from your own time, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always felt that if I was writing a sci-fi thing that's set in the future, I'd probably keep the year to myself to stop looking dumb down the line. But then again, you're never going to win that one.
Yeah, because it is funny the relationship we have with things like that, where it's like that thing we've talked about is like 1997 for some reason for a lot of films was like the future.
That was the future, man. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know why that year in particular, but the relationship you have with those films as you go past it, it's like, oh. Suddenly it becomes what if? It's like obviously a...
Oh, I guess these guys are supposed to look like the Green Army men toys, right?
Yeah.
Not for their benefit, for our benefit. So this is where...
I love this, they've all got live ammo and they're being electrocuted. Like, it's like, well, that's safe as fuck.
Well, again, life is cheap and violence is king.
Yeah.
So that's a great... Yeah, he goes and stands in front. Because this is the thing, they're dipshits, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They're just not ready for it. And takes his fucking helmet off.
Yeah, that's right.
This is an amazing squib as well. Like, this is horrible.
Oh, yeah, he probably goes like...
Big bit of brain flops down over his eye, and then that kind of snap. Yeah, he uses those snap zooms a lot in this. Yeah. As they're in the propaganda.
Yeah, they're in the well. It's what the sort of, and that's why to use it there is obviously designed to put you back in the mindset of that.
And that's the first. If you don't count him getting dumped, that's the first harsh blast of reality.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Dean. What's his name? I think he's in Breaking Bad, but he was like Tony in Total Recall. And
yes, he's in Terminator 2 as well. He's the SWAT leader in Terminator 2.
Oh yes, yeah. He's called like Dean Man or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Look who's talking. Oh yeah, of course. There's a like, that's quite neat. You know, she's because she wanted to have babies as well, so we've been told her reasons for being a citizen. Right. And you have to be a citizen to have to reproduce.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, as you know,
sort of eugenics type dealio.
I forgot about the flogging.
Oh yeah, of course,
public flogging.
Properly tied up.
There's a tract in the book about. So I think it's one of these things about. It's kind of like a kind of comedy bureaucracy thing where someone in training, I think, talks back to their superior officer, and then the chain of events from that point, owing to administrative things and the way the system works, it ends up with him being hanged. Oof. And it kind of spirals out of control, and like no one does anything about it, and gets hanged. And it's like this peculiar element of sympathy in that he gives him the thing made out of elastic bands or whatever to chow down on.
Well, and it implies that it's happened to him
and
before as well.
Yeah, it helps, I know.
Yeah.
This kind of actually suggests he's had it done more than once.
Yeah.
Once without and then with.
Yes, right, exactly. Yeah, true. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, he looks weird there.
Yeah, he does.
He's got a kind of gorilla sort of shape.
He's got longer arms than he should. Yeah.
He looks like Dick Jones when he falls out of the SCP tower. Oh yeah, that's it. Administrative punishment.
That's right.
Flogging.
Yeah. It's a sort of weird. It's that thing of like it's just a society that's gone backwards in certain areas whilst going. You know what I mean? It's that.
Okay, yeah, it's this kind of like anti-Star Trek. You know, I sort of like that. It's kind of this society based around sort of the worship of violence.
Well, this idea as well that we've like technologically advanced but totally forgotten all the lessons of history and like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, you know, it's so true. There's so many things that we do go round and round in circles on as societies, and you know, and like successive generations that think they know better and stuff like that. And it's like, you know,
it's like there's this kind of
you know, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying. Oh, I don't want to get into that. I'm not going there. But but there is that thing we do tend to repeat things because we think we're.
Yeah, well, history repeats, right? Yeah. So you think you're better and whatever.
Yeah. It's like I know better because I've got an iPhone. That thing that's rotating behind her, this is sort of this horrible thing that there's some sort of horrible nuclear reactor that is like just putting out tons of
brain.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's like, I can taste coconut.
He's got them both a cup of dandelion and burdock.
Yeah.
Dandelion and burdock.
My vagina is so.
They're grinning as usual. She did a little cheeky eyebrow arch there. That was quite a subtle bit of.
She giving her some credit. She does. I don't know. I do think Denise Richards does get like you know, like she often gets derided for The World Is Not Enough and stuff like that. I actually think in that film she's quite funny, like in certain bits of it. I think she gets the kind of she's sort of petulant towards it. She has a sort of funny, interesting relationship with James Bond in it. I don't think it quite works, but it is still quite. It's better than people give it credit for. But she's. I don't know. She sort of strikes me in something like this. She strikes me as someone who definitely watched playback and wanted to smile, you know, wanted to look a certain way on camera. And it's like, yeah, but
whether she meant to do it, she's perfect for this.
Yeah,
because they're supposed to be like this kind of plastic Ken and Barbie couple,
right?
That are part of the smiley, happy. Let's all go to war because that's a load of fun.
Yeah,
you know, and then you watch their worlds be sort of torn apart.
Yeah.
So there's a direct quote from Verhoeven where like part of his thesis for this film was like war makes fascists of everyone.
Okay.
That's something he said, and again, yeah, he kind of hated the book and just got Ed Neumeyer to summarise it for him, and so he had the intent and stuff, but he just didn't finish the book, and I get it because it's satirical of the book, which is quite interesting, because you know often you can talk about how if something trashes the source, that's a cool shot. I like
that is
space gravity thing.
She's got hair like Timothy Dalton in License to Kill. Hi. Yeah.
Yeah, like trashing the source material or something on purpose is a
Yeah.
hard thing to pull off and get away with. You know.
Zack Snyder.
Well,
Zack Snyder.
there's a compelling argument for that.
Space asshole.
Spanish.
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 He said American Spanish.
American Spanish.
The penis.
Spanish.
Fly the penis under the space poop.
Oh, ironically, they're little more.
That I don't get though, because come on, you can go down or up. It's not.
I don't know.
Which they do,
I'm fine
yeah.
to not get into the details of fictional spaceship stuff. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how it works. But I suppose they kind of dodge it.
Why did you have to smash that thing to do that?
The down button, the dodge button. I don't know.
You're not allowed to use the down button. That's very Star Wars.
It's very Star Wars, yeah. Whoops, a daisy. Well, there goes the tennis courts.
So it doesn't look that important, does it? Really?
Do you mind if? Are you able to entertain the boys and girls if I break format? Because I really need to go to the
Neither way.
Yeah.
Go on then. Go take a
Duncan's
pie.
gonna look after you.
I'll keep you in.
I'm gonna
right.
I'm gonna hobble off for a piss.
Here we go. Right. Starship Troopers. Bloody. Yeah.
Time to pass urine.
You don't do it. Please use the toilet. Hi everybody. It's Dr. Nick here.
Gonna make sure I shut the door.
Oh yeah, please do shut the door. For the dear listeners, Richard has taken himself off to my downstairs toilet to pass your iron. Yeah, okay. Well, while I've got you here, let me talk about Richard behind his back. No. I know what I'll do. I do it like Arnold Schwarzenegger, where I'm just describing everything that's going on. Do you hear this is talking to Johnny Rico? The good scene with the conversation. She sits down. It's fantastic, and she's got a great butt, and they did the titties and ferret, and then yeah. So obviously, what happens here? So that's right. So he goes and he's discharged, and oh yeah, and then he gets dragged. That's right. Yeah, and his family get killed. And blah blah blah. So here's your inciting incident, people. I suppose this is what would you say? I suppose this is the start of Act 2, really, in earnest. This is the kind of this is the inciting incident for our hero, and in a much more subtle way, actually. He is the sort of linchpin of this war, and obviously that gets borne out towards the end. But it's like it's not as kind of on the nose as it is in other films, where it's kind of like he's the it's a bit contrived. He's like one of the films that I remember when we talked about Godzilla from the 2014 one. There was too many contrivances for putting our lead character in those situations, and I think here it's done quite well. That you buy the coincidence of him being kind of discharged and then his parents being killed at that time, and that's the only sort of leap. But other than that, it's still kind of revolving around him in a way, which is quite nice. But yeah, very very cool. And then we're about to head into obviously all the horrible blood and guts and folly of war that I think is brilliantly realised in this. And Verhoeven's very good at that kind of plastic violence, which plays nicely into the kind of how it is. Hello, welcome back, Mr. Jackson.
What did I miss?
You missed our inciting incident and going into what I would say is probably Act 2, which is that his parents were just killed by a cloud. It would appear when it goes dark. But yeah, I think I floundered, and people at home hopefully haven't turned off. I did an Arnie impression though. That hopefully have kept them around.
I just enjoyed some excellent maturation.
Wonderful.
So yeah, this kind of flip reverses him, doesn't it? Because he's going to go back home, but home doesn't exist anymore. So
I was just saying, like, it manages to put him as the linchpin of everything. Like, because obviously he's our protagonist, but it's not contrived. It doesn't feel as contrived to keep him in the game. You know, like I was using Godzilla 2014 as an example, where it felt very contrived that Aaron Johnson would just find himself in these positions, where it's like, whereas this I think manages to do it well. You know, there's a slight leap in that you have to be like, oh, that just so happened to happen when he was about to walk out. But apart from that, it's like it's believable. And do you think this is all made up? Do you think that?
Well, I think is you need to question it.
Okay.
Because it's what's being fed to you. I'm sure, like, Buenos Aires was destroyed and stuff.
Yeah.
But considering the source, because it's fascist propaganda.
Yeah.
You have to be, because I think their thing is like, oh well, the bugs are just vicious and evil and just attacked us without provocation. but I think there is some dialogue somewhere about how they've been making incursions into their space and whatever. So I don't know, and someone's going to call me a fucking bug sympathiser or some shit like that. But,
well, it's sort of almost like a thing as well, where it's almost like it's almost a conspiracy to keep him in the game, because it's like it's his place that's been destroyed. It's his it's his home that he can't go back to.
Specifically,
yeah.
So in the book, his dad survives and joins the mobile infantry and is enlisted as his subordinate, as Johnny's subordinate.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he turns up towards the end of the book. This tees up what Zim does as well. You can see Zim's motivations, because they won't let him go to war as a sergeant because he has to stay there. So he takes promotion to private, and he's back at the end of the movie.
Right. Oh yeah.
So
of course,
he wants to kind of fight for his planet or whatever. Uh-oh. Go get killed, son. You have yourself some war.
Yep.
Get out of here. I was just thinking, whilst I was passing urine, I was just thinking about...
and a smattering of Garth. That's quite an impressive...
man, these propaganda broadcasts are so good as well. There's the kind of, the only good bug is a dead bug. Fucking hell, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That's John Davison, the producer.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Who also produced Robocop. Sky Marshal. I don't remember the mangled dog. I forgot about that.
I don't remember that either.
There's kind of two. Well, Denise Richards and Casper Van Dien's characters really share that kind of parallel narrative, in that they both go off with their kind of opposite love interest to some degree, and they both watch their superior officer sacrifice himself and take their place, and that's what causes them to rise through the ranks.
And they both lose their respective.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they lose. Yeah.
The people who would be their sort of soulmates, I suppose.
So these guys, like Doogie Howser, I know he's Neil Patrick Harris, but Doogie Howser's lot are the most obviously kind of Nazi. They turn up at the end in basically Gestapo uniforms.
Well, and also because he's in that kind of trying to get psychic, like where he's all part of that kind of, which the Nazis weren't doing psychic stuff, but they were doing all that.
Well, there's like supposedly occult stuff and definitely crazy science, like weird science.
Yeah.
I love this because it's so dumb. It's just like some of the stupid shit that happens. It's like,
the maniac mum, like kill them.
When people like supposedly stopped wanting to order French fries when the French wouldn't get involved in the Iraq War and stuff like that. It's dumb shit like that. It's a nice kind of, but this is before that happened, obviously. Right. But just stomping on cockroaches like all insects are now bad.
Well, it's interesting, obviously this is all pre 9/11 and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was, that made, it's a bit of a cliche, but that made loads of stuff suddenly relevant again.
Yeah.
And again, the kind of thing with Verhoeven that between this and Robocop is the concept of media and broadcast and reportage and how you represent the facts through a certain lens for sending them back to the people, be that militaristic or corporate. And what Robocop did, this is supposed to be because I always kind of go, oh, they've all got 35mm cameras, and I did crack that joke earlier. This is the space future, so everyone's got super high def shit. I can take that. Whereas in Robocop, everything's kind of VHS scan lines.
Right.
Though I have noticed, to be a right cunt about it, the displays in universe are all 4x3.
Right, yeah.
Widescreen.
Yeah, and they all play off fucking mini DVDs and shit like that. It's like, yeah.
Nice hat, dickhead. Yeah, you should. You look like a knob cheese.
I've got bigger lapels now.
Look at my lapels.
You don't have any lapels, Johnny, but I have lapels.
I'm superior officer.
Yes. Would you like to go make boom boom with me?
Make boom with snoo.
Yeah.
They gave me a tie.
This is all quite reminiscent of the Mars set from Total Recall, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
In that it's kind of like a hub, there's shops and...
You need a cab, man!
No, 5 kids to feed. We haven't really talked about Total Recall in relation to this, and Total Recall was very much a stepping stone from Robocop to this.
That's true,
because of the space stuff and the practical effects and the casting and the crew coming over.
Yeah.
There's loads and loads and loads of connective tissue, and that being more of kind of a space-bound sci-fi. This tips more into your kind of space opera type thing, whereas, Total Recall's your kind of sci-fi. Kind of noir, sort of mystery procedural thing. Do you see that face in the background?
Yes,
No,
I just caught it. Yeah, it's sort of Che Guevara-esque.
Well, it's just kind of it's constructivist kind of Soviet style thing. But I swear I've seen that recycled and used by someone else. Because I don't know I don't know. I think it says Make a Difference.
Okay.
But that does not. I know Volition. Is it Volition? The game developer, they had a logo that was very similar to that.
Yeah.
It's because that shadow under the nose, of course, describes a Hitler moustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's really, I really do think people should pay attention to stuff in the background because art departments and stuff put so much effort into the tiny little things, as well as we were discussing with.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be out by the time this comes out, but we interviewed Jason Fitzpatrick from Centre for Computer History about Bandersnatch, and he was talking about providing the computers, and it's like his choices, as small as they may be in the frame, really inform the characters, because you're then saying how those characters chose to build their workspaces and stuff like that. Which hopefully are already out. I don't know. I've got a lot to do, frankly. So I don't know when this is going to come out, but such is the constant mystery of our channel. Come here, again, look how many fucking extras and how deep it goes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And again, they never use, they constantly shoot in kind of like a narrow aperture, so everything's in focus all the time. Not completely, because that's not how that works, but there's very little kind of, how you use a 50 on a conversation and maybe shoot wide open to create that kind of narrow depth of field. There's always a really wide, long depth of field in all these shots. Robocop does that as well, actually. But this just has... your tattoos suck, guys.
Yeah. Douchebag.
You fucking douchebags.
You fucking
douchebag.
over
here. You fucking douchebag.
Go fuck your mother, Johnny Rico. It's right fucking here, alright?
Go
Rico.
fuck your space mother. In space.
You fucking mook, you. Shut the fuck up.
So look at that.
It's pretty
I've never
Do you think that is
really
composited?
I feel like I hope so, because Jesus, can you imagine?
It's funny the lighting that's suddenly turned. It's like that. Do you think that's a drop in quality because it's been? It's not chemical. It would be digital, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be chemically.
I would have expected so at this point because this is so computer heavy, but I'm not really sure. I'm going to say too much. I mean, there's most of the lighting in this is really, really flat.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's a design choice because I think it's supposed to look like propaganda, so everything's very clean and shiny.
Sure.
Because that's everything's clean and shiny and works, and it suckers you into the fact that you're actually watching something that's ideologically awful. But it goes. So, for example, on the planet, like we saw, it's kind of blue, James Cameron-y type stuff, and there's a few bits of red, but everything's kind of flat.
Right.
Flat and sort of very long kind of depth of field and wide lenses and stuff all the time.
I do remember the first time I watched this, and I don't know if it's because of my age or what, but it does create a good sense of like it made me uneasy, like all this having to go down and fight, and like all the war battle stuff does feel very quite, it's visceral, and it puts you in. It was good for the audience creating a real sense of danger, even though the characters themselves sort of seem to run headlong into it and not.
Well, again, it's the way these guys approach it. It's all this jolly adventure where they've been told that they're amazing and they're going to win and they're great and they're the best. And here is where they start to look uneasy and they start to feel that something's wrong.
Well, because they're like, it's all right, these can't hurt us or whatever. And it's like, and then they do, don't they?
And then they starts taking out some ships. And this is your classic kind of drop thing. This is your Normandy landing, everybody starts to freak out. And this is so good as well because when before everything was kind of flat and locked off, now it starts to shake and now the wheels come off and they start to panic and the music builds and and there's a feeling of descent, descent into hell, and then when they're on the planet, it doesn't just go wrong because it's Paul Verhoeven, it goes horribly viscerally wrong. There's a brain bug, man. It's got a fanny for a mouth like all aliens must have.
It either has a penis head or it has a fanny.
The penis.
The penis.
And the ships are quite penis shaped.
Penis, you feel like a penis.
There's two penises hitting each other.
It's really bothering me who the captain is. She sort of looks like she'd be a good stand-in for Kate Mulgrew, but it's I've definitely seen her in other stuff. Oh yeah, Roger Young. Okay, so the ship's called the Roger Young. with a D, strange spelling of Roger. And the book goes to pains, I think it's at the start of the book before the kind of story proper, they tell you about, I think he's a real guy, World War II soldier, who charged on a bunker and got shot 19 times and managed to pop a grenade in it and kill a bunch of Germans.
Right.
That's the real life Roger Young. I think that's right. And yeah, the ship in this is called the Roger Young, which I think the ship in the book is probably called the Roger Young as well. But Duncan just brought up IMDb page, and the screenshot is Johnny Rico with a bum behind him. I think it's Jake Busey's bum.
I don't. No, it's
That's the other lad's bum.
yeah.
Yeah, see, that was all blue now.
Yes.
So it's kind of, suddenly things, the whole mood and the whole construction and the look of the film changes, because they're supposed to be charging across a battlefield under a flag and it's supposed to be glorious, but actually it's all hellish and confusing
Yeah.
and dark.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's supposed to just like all of a sudden all that bravado starts to go away, and
I forgot about these big guys. So there was I think there's been a couple, but there was like a first-person shooter game of Starship Troopers, which was kind of crap. And it's like, man, you've been handed everything you need to make a great fun game out of this,
right.
and you can make it funny and satirical as well. I quite like the idea that so it's the thing, they kind of view them as dumb animals, but yet they've got the capability to essentially fire weapons out of their own atmosphere and stuff, and
sort of fart them out there.
yeah.
She was in Spaceballs. Her name's Brenda Strong.
Let's have a look.
There you go.
I'm going to look at Brenda Strong.
I got a strong feeling.
I wonder if she was ever in Star Trek. I mean, just...
It's on the right there, all that film.
Oh man, this is really different to the Android version.
Sorry, I'm an apple.
My girlfriend
Pardon me
used to
while I
watch...
smell my own fart. If you can scroll all the stuff in the... Yeah, we'll do that.
I'll do it this way. Oh, she plays Lillian Luthor in Reign of the Supermen.
Lily Luthor.
She's in Supergirl. Fear the Walking Dead. Oh, it must be that, because I done watched that.
Oh, that's horrible. All the the sort of stabbings and things when things go through, it's like all their armour just looks so ineffectual.
That's what's great, isn't it? That's the point. Like, it's all so ridiculous because it's no use whatsoever.
Yeah, and when they're shooting them as well, it just sort of takes forever to take them down, and then it's like the swarms look incredible, and the lighting there with stuff going off, like lighting them up in the background and stuff, just looks amazing.
Oh, she's in Starship Troopers 2 as a different character.
Oh,
Starship Troopers 2, Hero of the Federation.
it's cheating.
Oh, she was in Malcolm in the Middle. Red Dragon.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
This is a fun excursion into just cheating by looking at IMDb. But there you go. There you go, Yeah, like the kind of impalements and stuff are real nasty. And when Matey Boy gets his brain sucked out later, it's nuts. Like the way his cheeks cave in. And
it's properly horrible. This stuff as well, like the bugs are so sort of like their mouths don't seem to go anywhere. You know what I mean? They're just these giant beaks.
It just ends at a kind of.
Oh,
they just tear them to pieces.
and they all run around on their these spiny feet and stuff like that.
It's great design, and it's a design that's endured because it's been used in all these sequels and things, and it's instantly recognisable.
Well, like you say, they should be recognisable by their silhouette, and they definitely are here. Yeah.
I referred to them as insects earlier, which is stupid. They're specifically called arachnids.
I think they've got 8 legs though.
Well, I think it's 8 limbs rather than legs.
Oh, okay.
But the film calls them arachnids, so I'm
Fair enough.
Because what's that? I'm not going to play the game of counting their legs. Fuck that.
But it is that thing of what would be your most sort of basest fear? Like, what would you fear the most? It's like these giant fucking I hate spiders myself. I'm not a spider guy. And
spider guy,
Spider guy, does not like spider.
But yeah, that's like sort of the worst thing.
And it's a good example of kind of making an unknowable. It's the same thing from a different angle. That's cute. It's making an unknowable enemy because there's this assumption that there's kind of these dumb wild animals, but clearly they organise and have some kind of hierarchical society.
Yeah.
But because you can't just stand face to face with it and shake its hand, it's got to be a monster.
Yeah.
And again, this is told from the perspective. I'm not saying because this is it's going to be like you're a bug sympathiser or whatever. But it's told from the perspective of the humans, so of course, and they show the bug afraid at the end, and it's like, it's afraid, and they all cheer. That's really sinister. But then the film is designed to make the reason it's like this because you're supposed to question it.
Well, yeah, and it literally shows you two perspectives of the same thing, right, and stuff like that. It's like,
and the clever thing is, it's dressed up as a thing where you unquestioningly follow the humans and whatever, but actually the point is you're supposed to look at it from the other side as well, because you're not supposed to trust what you've been told and everything.
Yeah. Throws his mate's torso at him.
Look at that.
Look at that. It's just like straight through him.
Great kind of marrying of digital and practical as well. Because it's got weight, you know. And when Johnny gets like run through his leg, I think you see the real deep. You know, when it's been stitched up,
massive.
You see,
like, look at the size of it. It's like,
look at that big meaty hamburger wound. This really hurts.
Yeah.
He sounded exactly like the man who gets his willy shot off in RoboCop.
So there's screaming.
Underslung shotgun. This is pure video game.
Yeah, because he's assumed to be dead, isn't he?
Yeah. So you get the kind of fake out.
Federal network. Yeah, it's a federation. Isn't it?
So again, Star Trek. You know, Star Trek's the United Federation of Planets. It's just like the Federation of whatever.
Right.
Look at the carnage!
God,
I love it. It's so mad. Look, I mean, again, look, nearly every other shot is just this insane pile of extras.
And it's interesting, and it's interesting how this is their way of spinning it into like a tragedy. It's like you invaded them and failed. Like it's a failure of
I think that, exactly, and they kind of how your head of state is just so easily replaced.
Yeah.
I love this. I find the thought of a bug that thinks offensive.
Which is oddly prescient now, isn't it?
And this is total.
So
news
what happens
media.
now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exact.
So
People screeching each other on news media shows.
The race to be offended. But
Bug that thinks offensive.
and his face like that's a point. Like what? Like,
right.
So like,
classic fucking TV news shit. Yeah. This is because they'll kind of limp back. But so all of a sudden things.
It's space. Why would it be on the piss?
Well, so someone said that, like, you know, in Star Trek when ships meet, they're always front to front.
Right.
And they did actually, people have not mad keen on Star Trek Discovery, a lot of people it seems, but they did a few shots where the ships meet at random angles. It's like, there's no up. There's no up, it's space. You know? It might be an etiquette thing, it's just we better meet face to face. It'd be rude otherwise.
Well, because there's that thing of it being naval, and that wasn't like old Navy things that you pass like port to port or whatever, and that's how boats would dock with each other. So I guess there's that. But how did that get back?
Very slowly. The guy just dragging a body bag. Look at it's just the detail, man.
I know, just have that one shot passing across all this, the amount of work that's gone in there. Look at the deep backgrounds of this. People would. Yeah. These must be all amputees.
This is
stuff.
Verhoeven and Jos Vacano love to do these long. So it's like the boardroom in RoboCop was a big long table, right. So they love to do that. And it's just like it's set up like that. If one person fucks up, 200 people have to go back to their ones, and do the whole thing again. I mean, the staging of this film is absolutely astonishing.
I mean, that is a day to do that shot. That's basically people get in at 4 a.m. They go through makeup and all that. They've got to have their wounds done, and presumably a bunch of them would have been amputees or whatever. So they've got like stumps.
Yeah, so you brought people in and
and then it's like, then just to do that one shot. Yeah, it's got to be a day's work, if not 2, just to get that one shot.
Unfortunately, it really shows up the sequels. So like the third one in particular tries to do things with this scope, but it just can't because it doesn't have the money. And and Newmar directed that actually. The third one. So, again, I've got real respect for him for sort of keeping his baby alive. Even his leg looks like a fanny now.
It's an American fanny.
Fanny! I just love the idea of Verhoeven using the word fanny. Like British playground slang. Shush, American fanny.
That looks like fun. I want to do that. Lie in a tank.
What, the back to tank?
If it was warm and comfortable. But again, it's like going back to the womb, isn't it?
Surely this is I hope that's a deliberate Empire Strikes Back thing. You would have thought. It just kind of feels like, because when you're making your kind of dystopian evil space future, kind of reference the kind of classics, I suppose.
Well, it's a kind of, he's back in the womb, isn't he? This is a rebirth and all that, all the symbolism there.
He's dead and he's reborn.
Yeah.
Big square-jawed dope.
But he's sort of reborn as they want him, right? So is that the idea that he's sort of put back in the womb of the Federation?
Well, that's it, because he wasn't ready.
And he becomes...
has to be dying reborn to become the soldier that he's going to become.
And that's a RoboCop thing.
Yeah, very much so. And, and Total Recall.
Yeah.
Because he's reborn through, memory and parts
Hauser
and stuff.
or whatever.
I think a lot of this, the fact that it's crowd scenes and things is very much... Because, again, he's from The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name?
He's the priest, isn't he?
He's the priest guy, yeah. His something Gilliam is his name. I can't remember.
God, yeah.
He looks so young there. He's
as far as I'm concerned, he did that and then The Walking Dead.
He was in The Wire.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
Well, which I haven't
good.
seen, as I was keen to point out, because then people start asking me about The Wire.
Yeah, I haven't. I've watched an episode once.
I'm entirely conversant of how much of a bad person that makes me.
Yeah.
Look at that ridiculous... What is it, like a shark tooth or something?
It's like a horn or something.
It looks like it's going to give him scoliosis, it's so big.
Right in the teeth. Right in the Busey teeth.
Right, those enormous gravestone-sized teeth. Oh, I guess it's going to be a bit of an arachnid, isn't it? That's the point.
Oh, okay, yeah, good point, yeah. It's a bug's dick.
Little pointy bug dick.
Attention on dick.
On Dick. Michael Ironside, he's just fucking wicked. He's got such authority and he kind of looks gnarly. And obviously he's done stuff with Verhoeven before.
But. Fucking Terminator Salvation when he's sort of...
Oh, well.
He's not got much to work with, but when he walks around behind him, he's like, I could rewrite it in a heartbeat or whatever and all that stuff. And he's just posturing and being a bit of a... It just doesn't work for him. It's not his fault.
Well, it's 'cause he has that really small part in X-Men First Class that he's really, really cool. It's not a particularly big stretch for him, but he plays like the Navy captain.
Oh, of course he does, yeah, when they're all...
That's cool.
Yeah.
And in talking of him and Christian Bale, he's fucking great in The Machinist.
They're both great. I mean, I like him and Christian Bale. I just don't think that scene serves them. Obviously, we're also supposed to be buying that John Connor just dove through
well, look, Terminator Salvation is
an
Terminator
irradiated sea.
Like, it's just a train wreck. Well, no, it's not actually. It's a fucking masterpiece compared to Genesis. But anyway, Ironside in this, he's perfectly cast in this, and he's a combination of two characters from the book.
Right, it's very.
But it's nice to have him revealed as having rejoined the service. And
see, like, where was all this before now? Like, they just do that. Like,
well, that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's incompetence.
Yeah,
it's incompetent, and it's kind of stupid, ill-managed warmongering.
And this is obviously there to say, like, well, hang on, we're an advanced society. Like, surely the humans could just nuke that planet and be done with it by this stage. I love that the fake arms look really rubbish as well, but that's kind of the point.
Well, they're cool designs, but they're sort of super chunky, because now you would refine it with CGI and shrink it down.
Yeah.
But before it has to fit over a human hand, so it's this enormous claw.
But it looks like they haven't really made the effort to integrate it much. It's just looked like a glove.
Oh, just kind of plugs on. Yeah. Well, actually, those are quite common in the real world now.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen a few of them sort of in the wild. They're really amazing. I mean, they work to different degrees and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a nice practical.
Like, yeah, scorched bug. Yeah.
A lot of the visual style of this film is informed by Nazi propaganda and Leni Riefenstahl. Having kind of big crowd scenes, particularly the kind of assembled stuff, which is specifically in the thing. But I think these constant kind of wide vistas.
So what, Inglourious Basterds? I can't remember if they said.
Yeah, so Inglourious Basterds. I can't remember. I don't think those films are supposed to be by Riefenstahl, but I think they have a director. Do they have a director character, or is it's like Goebbels supposed to direct it himself? I can't remember.
Supposedly, yeah, but it's one of those. Like, obviously, he didn't.
Well,
what's
of course,
the guy?
it's fiction. But
What's Daniel Rule's character name? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
Frederick Zoller or whatever, isn't it? And because he held off the whole.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that Roger Young story where there goes Bug's Eye. I hope you have a hanky.
Right in the bug eye.
Right in the bug eye.
Ow, my bug's eye.
You better have a tissue.
Yeah.
It's all over the scope of your rifle.
I hope that doesn't give you an infection or something. It's like...
yeah, whichever fucked up alien pathogens in their custard blood. Probably stinks as well.
Later he died of bug AIDS.
Bug AIDS! He died of AIDS!
I never understand that. Like, cats can get feline AIDS, but we can inoculate them against leukemia. Cat leukemia.
Really?
Yeah, like our cat, he's had his shot. He has to have his shots for like anti-leukemia. So I'm like, hang on. That's a cure for cancer.
yeah.
Why is it we can do that?
Feline cancer.
Yeah, fancy.
Fancy. Well, that's the thing, because it's FIV, isn't it? The feline HIV. It's FIV.
Right. Yeah.
And cat AIDS. That's the thing. When I did that thing, like I went with my ex to the Battersea Dogs home, and we looked around, and she was like looking at the animals and stuff. And you go to sort of Cat Shawshank, and like some of them are labelled as having FIV, and it's like you got to keep it indoors, else it's going to go fuck all the other cats and give them FIV. It's like, poor little fucks.
Yeah. They just neatly round them up and.
They finally start to kind of get the upper hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is Johnny's kind of big football moment, isn't it? This is the thing that was on posters, and I think it was in the trailer and stuff as well.
Breathes fire.
That shot.
Yeah.
So I think it's on the cover to this Blu-ray.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like napalm, isn't it? Because it sort of melts that guy's arm off or something, is it?
That's right, yeah. Big booger.
Big booger.
But it's like that thing of like, this is them, they're effective now because they're angry.
Yeah. Look at that. That's so good. It's kind of faintly like the effect from Mars Attacks when they turn into skeletons.
Oh yes, yeah. Except there it's horrible because it rots through.
Rots off. So I know it's kind of slightly hokey old CGI, but the way they use the camera and stuff, it really gives that creature a sense of weight.
Fits in with the aesthetic of the film in general. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know why it seems to have now lent it a sort of. It just seems in keeping with the whole thing. It doesn't sort of show up too much as like. Because I know what you mean. Yes, I could criticise that for being.
Yeah, but I still think it looks because the camera kind of shakes when its feet hit the floor and stuff, and it really gives it a sense of weight.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, there's a few like hokey shots. So there's like a CGI Johnny in a few places, but it's used sparingly, so you kind of get away with it. I think that's the thing. It's kind of quite conservative in its approach, in that it doesn't. I think the downfall of a lot of kind of older CGI was just really liberally using kind of shots, and it's like, I can really see the fucking joins here.
Yeah.
Because this is, I guess, 5-6 years after Jurassic Park. Was Jurassic Park 93 or 90?
Yes.
Yeah, so kind of 5 years after Jurassic Park.
I love that. That's the sort of, there's your reward.
Also,
like,
this scene shows you that, like, so Gabriel from The Walking Dead killed a bug that was lime flavour. And he killed the orange flavour.
Yeah.
Don't worry, son, you're going to get a gnarly robot arm.
And it's the same orange that his like uniform was as a football guy, isn't it? It's like sort of.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of. It's kind of painted him back into his.
Really ugly. That scene's kind of reminiscent of the football scene in The Sixth Day as well.
I can't
Futuristic. Yeah, remember American football guy breaks his neck and they go clone him at the start of The Sixth Day. I think it's at the start.
Okay.
It's the XFL, the Vince McMahon Football League.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which I think they brought back or something.
I haven't watched that film in a long time. I've got it.
Look, they look like those weird fruit Tic Tacs that no one buys.
Yeah,
only maniacs buy those.
I used to have those.
Those for nutcases. Who does that? The lunatic. Well, they like orange and lime or something.
Yeah. I used to like them. It's like big whiskey pods or something, or beer pods.
Here's the beer. And also, for some reason, a futuristic fiddle.
That's right. Yeah,
how we entertain ourselves.
Instruments like for
footballs, a fiddle,
footballs and fiddles,
a kind of Vanessa Mae sort of neon fiddle.
Yeah,
and Boosie knows how to fiddle because, of course, he does. Yeah, right. I think this is the general kind of commentary that these guys are all kind of lame. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like musical instruments are lame, but especially because I can't fiddle. I don't know how to fiddle.
I can fiddle in the sense of when people say call guitars fiddles.
Do they?
Yeah, some people call it their fiddle.
Mad
or their
fucks.
axe. Yeah.
Oh, axe, yeah. Okay.
Axe fiddle. Look at Scar
Oh
down
yeah, he's got a gnarly bug scar.
Yeah.
He looks so young, man.
Mate, he does as well. Yeah, I have no idea he was in this.
Yeah. Something that I noticed. I noticed it having watched this once. I'd watched The Walking Dead, obviously.
Yeah.
I was like, it's Gabriel.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, like you say, it's got this start again. It's got this massive sort of fascist-y thing going on, but the whole co-ed thing is really kind of like, you would think the point would be that, you know, women would be well kept out of the front lines and stuff like that, but they're not. And it's like, it does bring up that thing of like, well, wouldn't you just be fooking all the time?
That's what happens, isn't it?
But they're an oddly sort of sexless lot. I mean, you said that you have to be citizens to have kids.
Radchek tells him to go shag her. That's what that line of dialogue was.
That's right, yeah.
He's like, dude, we're going to war tomorrow, maybe you want to poke your mate. It seems that there's a binary divide in the society in that you're either a citizen or you're not, and that's the issue. You're a citizen or not, and you can only be a citizen through
Fighting.
So I once I have my phone's charging, so I don't have it open, so I can't read it directly. But as I've told you before, I once had a bunch of mates over, like a few of us around my house, and we were watching this, and it's quite late on, so we're quite pissed. And we were having a debate as to whether or not you had to necessarily be in the army or the services to be a citizen. And I'm friends with Ed Newmar on Facebook because he does just kind of add people, fans and stuff. I don't know him, so I messaged him at like 1 a.m. our time, just asking him that question. And bless him, he fucking messaged, like we're all sat around, and I got a ping on my phone, and he messaged me back. It had been like 15 minutes, and just the whole room just went like, and he laid it all out for us in a nice couple of paragraphs.
Very cool.
And I was like, mate, thank you so much. That's really sweet of you. We were all just sitting around getting pissed, and he's like, well, have a drink on me, and yeah, it's like, man, you didn't have to do that at all. That's the sweetest thing. See, Fukin.
But this is the thing as well. This is a sort of well-worn horror film trait that like they Fook and she dies, right? Like that's the penalty for.
Yeah, and again, the thing is like that Dizzy Flores is a one-page character in the book who's there just like they're lifting out of a battle zone and he dies on the lift out.
Oh, okay.
Whereas this film expands him into her, and it's like a romantic interest and stuff. So I read today something that I've never heard before in my life, that and I'm reluctant to talk about it too much because I haven't seen it with proper verification. I tried to look for the source, but anyway, supposedly they already had a script called Bug Hunter Outpost 9, and then they retroactively applied the Starship Troopers license to it because it sounded like it was quite derivative anyway. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. It's the first time I've heard that, and I don't know if Ed Newmeyer supposedly wrote this script, which would be interesting because, you know, him and his co-writer from Robocop that I've forgotten, oh god, everyone's going to hate me, you know, they both, well, he wrote a Judge Dredd script that got turned into Robocop roundabout way.
Right,
and if he wrote that Bug Hunter Outpost 9 script or whatever, which I've never heard of in my life. And it's the first time I read that was today, and I was kind of like, okay, I don't want to talk about it too much because I've never heard that. Because, yeah, you know, the point for me is it's this kind of satirical inversion of the intent of the book, which is what, you know, to a degree, Kiss Me Deadly does.
Right.
And then Movie Bob snuck into my uni and stole my idea. No, he didn't do that. And shouldn't bring up Movie Bob. People really hate Movie Bob.
Really?
Yeah, loads of people really hate him. I quite like what he does, but I find him quite annoying as a person. He's a bit sanctimonious.
The stuff I've seen of him, is quite forthright, shall we say.
Yeah.
But to each his own, that's fine. Oh yeah, so the flying bug. Where's this shot? Because this is a very specific place, isn't it? I can't remember where this is, but there is like a
right, because it looks kind of like a ancient ocean bed or something, doesn't it? I mean, California, the States is full of places like that, isn't it?
Right.
So I assume this is all done in the States, but
California,
because this is just like your kind of Star Trek. Again, this is like your Star Trek backdrop.
Right.
Or you know, in England, it'd always be like Doctor Who would always be filmed in like an old chalk quarry. Which we have one near us in Cambridge, an old chalk quarry. I shot a student film there.
Gogmagogs is the chalk, like they're all, that's all.
Oh yeah, well, Cambridge is all limestone and chalk. Yeah. Fun geology facts for anyone watching.
He shoots the guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, so I'd expect you to do the same for me, right?
Yeah. Before he gets stabbed a bunch.
I never really paid attention to that design, and it's sort of like, it's kind of like a flying ant, because you know when flying ants, when they level up into flying ants, they become sort of pearlescent and their colour changes and they become bigger. It's kind of like your standard arachnid, but with wings and that kind of pearlescent thing. It's sort of like a flying ant. Thanks, ants. Thanks.
Fucking think it was just like, what's worse than a bloody spider or whatever, one that can fucking fly. Great, spiders. Thanks for that. Yeah,
I sort of think flying spiders would have the edge taken off them. I think they'd look a bit silly, but I guess nature would find a way to make the wings horrifying as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I can't remember the actor, but Quarto from Total Recall is about to turn up.
Oh yeah, of course he is. Yeah.
And I think he gets gored or something, doesn't he? Like he's
he gets.
Again, look at the carnage.
I know. It's proper like splatter, like literally like car crash victims or whatever, like guts hanging out. Lovely.
Yeah, what a day at the office. That's Seth MacFarlane.
It's Christian Bale.
Christian MacFarlane. Seth MacBale. You're all fucked, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, this is the thing of the...
Zulu-esque, isn't it, this bit?
Yeah, very much
Yeah.
so. And the commanding officer's kind of lost his mind and doesn't know what's going on and stuff.
And that has a sort of Heart of Darkness type vibe as well, like kind of Apocalypse Now type,
Yeah, I mean, this is very, very conversant in the tropes of war movies and stuff. Because that's what it's doing, but it's all through this lens of kind of metaphor and allegory. And
Yeah.
they dug in, you fucks.
They dug an asshole in here.
Dug in like an Alabama tick.
Yeah. Bunch of slack-jawed faggots around. That's right. I can't really do Jesse.
Thermite paint.
I saw like a spur.
Yeah, his voice has just descended into his chest. Hasn't it?
Yeah. It's like, there you go.
It's a little bit like, how Gordon Brown would say something and then go,
Yeah.
that's gross.
That is very gross. That's very sort of Terminator 2.
So it's got the chip scene, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Ratchet just
Stick
digs
his
in.
fucking fingers in
What's
it.
in here? Uh-oh, bug cum.
Well, there's no brains in there. But that's obviously to show that she's got the stomach for it.
Yeah.
Whereas Denise Richards didn't.
That is such chunky bomb. I wasn't quite ready for that. Quite sort of slightly dry, like cat sick.
When I've had to do it, they put fruit salad in like canned fruit salad in a blender.
Oh, nice. So it's kind of sweet.
When I did Holby City, yeah, and I had to throw up on Hugh Quashie's shoes.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's Duncan's contribution to the Star Wars canon.
You're welcome.
Open your mind, Mr. Quaid.
Yeah.
Quaid. This guy's quite a cool sounding name. I can't remember what it is, so...
So look him up.
Yeah. Have a look. Hey, have a look, man. I did actually look up the cast names and stuff before, but I done forgot.
I plumb forgot. Is it? Hang on.
Wait a minute.
Hi, Mom. Talking about yourself.
Oh yeah, that's it. So like the bug has stuck its stalk in that one's head and made that person make a distress call.
Oh,
Which you
right.
don't
Okay.
actually see happen, but which is a really horrible image.
Yeah, it was really horrible. Well, you sort of see it later on, obviously, when the guy gets his.
Yeah, you don't see him. They don't make him do anything. They just suck out his brains, and you see the brain like go up that chin.
Yeah, it's horribly sort of procedural in a way, isn't it?
I think you see the brain bug again in Starship Troopers 3, Marauder, but I can't remember.
Okay.
I did just watch that recently. I watched it in the summer because I've got it on DVD. I just kind of...
I can't find him. Maybe he's one of these horribly obnoxious actors who doesn't have an IMDb Pro account and just hasn't put his photo on.
Because I found him earlier. He looks totally different now.
Okay. But...
Anyway, I'm sure the boys and girls at home are not that fucking bothered anyway, but... I did see who's your actors in your film.
It's interesting to choose, because obviously you would think that they would... Like, to do this all in daylight, look at that. That is one of the money shots, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. That and that's your kind of Zulu situation.
Yeah.
That's right, Zulu.
Hello,
Because
Zulu.
when I remember when I saw Starship Troopers, and I thought, they ripped off Zulu.
What guns are they, do you think?
Oh, they're just... well, it must be some kind of dressed up...
That's what I mean, but what do you think the underlying...
What the base... The muzzle looks like it could be from a M16 sort of type situation.
Is the magazine behind the trigger?
Or is it like a bull? It looks like a
like an
bullpup rifle.
SA-80?
Yeah, it looks like a bullpup thing, but I can't actually see it. But yeah, I guess it's a dressed up
It's bullpup. All of it.
bullpup. All of it. Someone will know.
Because there's those close-up shots of the ejector port.
Marshall Bell.
Oh.
Marshall Bell. So he's got that kind of detective-y type name.
/ dictatory type.
Yeah. Marshall Bell.
Thermite paint. Control detonation.
You got flying bugs, you fuck guys, you so fucked. I remember the video. I had the demo of the PC game, which pretty much does a take on this kind of scene.
Oh,
Straight off.
Oof.
Woof! It's just popped. That's really great.
Ow, my bug ass! Oh yeah, that's right. It goes bish straight into. Oh, like leaves a stain on the floor.
So this, I've got, I hate to make this reference again, but this does the thing where, Judge Dredd, and I've had pushback on this, which is ridiculous. Judge Dredd is a fascist. It's part of the character. It's not a fan theory that I have. Judge Dredd is a fascist. You can ask John Wagner, you can ask Rob Williams. It's part of the script. It's not something that I've just theorised.
Yeah.
The point of Judge Dredd is you often see the fascist hero doing heroic stuff. That's
Right.
exactly what this is, but then you're supposed to call into question what that means and why they're doing it.
Okay.
And Johnny Rico is part of this fascist kind of complex, and he's a representation of it to their military. And you see him performing heroic actions such as this, which is why people at the time watched it and kind of went, "Oh, it's fascist propaganda." It's like, it's ironic, you fucking ding dongs. I mean, it's so ridiculously steeped in irony. This film,
Yeah.
Oh, you're so fucked, guys! Don't shoot till you see the browns of their eye. So it doesn't, like, Radchek gets pulled down the hole and it's just eating both his legs, I seem to remember.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just such a... I was trying to think there's another actor who seems to constantly get de-limbed, and I can't think who it is. I think Ironside's definitely up there.
It's like Sean Bean getting killed and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's probably been updated, but I remember watching this son of Sean Bean dies supercut and just finding it sort of borderline upsetting. It's just, there's one where he gets trampled to death. I think he gets trampled to death or run off a hill by cows. So there's loads of like crazy ones who just gets his throat cut or his head cut off, whatever. But there's this really prolonged one of him getting kind of murdered, like trampled to death by cows.
Michael Bean as well always gets killed and stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, poor old Bean.
Michael Bean.
Those beans, sad, differently spelled, but still sad beans. You're such a sad bean.
The Death Bean.
The death bean.
Mr. Bean. Never got killed.
Jelly beans, which to be fair, are a mixed bag.
The Archers.
Jeffrey Archer. The Archers.
Oh dear.
Oh my Christ. Yeah, great.
Oh, there's a lot of that as well. There's a lot of things killing people in their death throes, isn't it? Like the last thing they do is slice at someone.
It's like the woman who accidentally shoots the guy in the head. It's because she's been knocked out of the game and zapped with the laser. And she kills as she goes down. And yeah, like I think the bug that gets Johnny gets him in the leg just as he's killing it.
That's right. Yeah.
It's quite. I like how because this script kind of again it pulls these characters apart and then it brings them back together and it kind of dovetails into the final kind of assault.
That's right, yeah.
And they kind of put aside their differences and stuff to just get on with it and whatnot. And it's quite nicely structured.
Oh yeah.
Again, that as a practical thing.
That's amazing.
The floor just ate like 6 people or 4 people or whatever.
Do you reckon that's that like corn husks or whatever that they use for sand?
It looks like quite a coarse tog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ow, this really hurts. This is a bit like, dude, you seem to be capable of saving people from worse than this.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Probably
just like,
drove.
fuck it. Man, you could get a job on the desk at the recruitment office, just like your mate. He's got no legs. It'd be great if he missed and shot him in the neck.
Shot his dick off, like.
No! What were you thinking?
This is what gets dizzy, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, she gets kind of wounded. And then the scene, because I'm pretty certain in the book the Dizzy Flores character dies, like I said, on kind of the ride up after a battle. So I think the death scene's kind of similar. It'd be great if she just tripped on a brick or something.
Yeah. Well, it's the hubris thing, isn't it? See, that shot's a bit.
That's really hokey, isn't it? So just
Where did that come from?
Because that's high frame rate,
Oh.
and the other one's just regular frame
yeah,
rate. Slow. I
artificially slow.
hate that. It always looks shit.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Volcano, like we were the other night, like that's what happens right at the end of Volcano. They just artificially slow down something.
I suppose one of these things, you shoot it one way on the day.
We shot it at 24
then
frames, but it's like, come on, you must have known you were going to do that as a slow-mo shot.
I just wonder what goes on in the edit sometimes. Cause,
Her death scene is really horrible as well.
I know I've shot...
Don't pull it out, you...
This is a basic first aid, you cretin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've shot sports stuff and whatnot, and obviously go high frame rate and slow down in
Yeah,
post.
you got 50 frames. Like.
But it's all right for me because I'm just doing fucking corporate videos. Whatever. I did some. I lensed Katie Ormerod last year. She's Olympic snowboarder for Team GB.
Aye.
She's from up north. Talks like this. She was doing some sick moves that I'd done, filmed.
Very cool.
Not really relevant. That shot gets used a lot as well.
Their eyes pop out. Like, these eyes
Oh wow! Yeah, I never
gross.
noticed that. Thanks, Blu-ray. I love it. Well, that's the thing, because they're pure Verhoeven. It's all Steeped in Iron stuff, but it's so ridiculously gruesome.
Yeah.
Those little details. He's such a sick fuck. I love him. Look at that jizzing lava everywhere.
That ship is so hokey as well. It looks stupid.
It's really
but
boxy, yeah.
Yeah, but it's sort of Blake 7 / Space Precinct /
Oh, Space Precinct.
Yeah. With the Irish chief or whatever he's like.
Schön begaren.
Oh man, I've not. Yeah, I've tried to sort of scrub that from my memory. I hated it then. I appreciate the work that went into it, but I just always remember leaving as a kid, just going like, "This is so shit."
The only one I remember was where the cyborg guy gets sent back in time, and it's like a Terminator type
Oh, nice.
video, and that one was alright.
I'm looking forward to Space Precinct fan 1997 harassing me in the comments now.
There is another Skywalker.
That's South Park where everyone just shits them.
They say it's only day, gravy pants.
Imagine if every film had to do that.
Well, it's just for verisimilitude, you know.
End of the Dark Knight Rises.
That would make that Talia al Ghul thing somehow even worse.
My father's work is done. Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
I will kill you, but I don't have to shave you. I have a particular set of... Like at the end of all that, like with the thing, like, yeah, the train like slides through
Yeah,
the
it
thing that
just stops and then, yeah, ADR.
Went to great lengths to make sure it was realistic.
We really studied human anatomy when we were planning the film, and then we realised.
Oh, I'm such a child.
I just wonder. I always wonder in commentaries like who's made it this far.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like someone going like, I heard they do fart jokes, but I haven't heard one. They're smarter than I thought, but I think I'm going to turn it off.
Yeah.
It's like minutes later.
Yeah. Bullet dodge. Fecal bullet dodge.
See, this isn't.
It doesn't make any sense though that she gets that sort of send off. It's like, none of
everybody
the
else,
others do.
Literally, there's a scene earlier of someone being dragged around in a body bag.
Yeah.
This is quite reminiscent to the Spock funeral from Star Trek 2.
Okay.
In that it's a kind of a space funeral and stuff, but
It's not like John Hurt in Alien where it's just like, buff, like just shut down. Yeah. Adios, motherfucker.
yeah, that's a fun. That's such a. It's quite evocative, that scene, because it's just the way the body kind of spins off, and it's like kind of wrapped
And that
in muslin
shot of
and
it,
stuff.
yeah, just go. It's very, very cold and horrible and great, but yeah,
It's kind of frigid indifference of space.
indeed.
Open casket.
Dizzy was my friend, and I made sexy boom boom.
Maybe other people will make sexy boom boom in the war or something.
Yeah, in heaven.
See, these uniforms aren't really in heaven.
In the afterlife.
These costumes look a little bit like the Red Dwarf ones, don't they? Like the Series 1 Red Dwarf costume.
Yeah, it's supposed to do, yeah.
Bye!
Bye! It's just like now you have to stand there while it languidly just sort of like floats off.
Then I want a shot of someone looking at their watch.
Yeah, like. Look, his uniform just gets more and more
This is
nuts.
just exactly like so outrageously Gestapo.
Yeah.
That the coffin's still going away.
Clanda through Obara.
He sort of looks. His eyes kind of seem sort of sunken at this point. I don't know if that's deliberate, but it's
Neil
like,
Patrick Harris.
yeah, like there's been
they
some
kept the-
kind of toll on him.
They've just put the light a little bit higher, haven't they,
It's
to give a shadow on his eye.
Great performance from him compared to earlier, because he chews them out here, because he's a general now, and he's kind
Right.
of like, we're in it for the species, like, because he's quite light-hearted before, and we only see him once between now and then in that. There you go.
Yeah.
We only see him once between now and the beginning and the end.
Right.
And like what it feels like there's been some kind of toll on him.
That's true.
You know,
yeah.
and he's one of the only characters who actually knows what's going on.
Also, he's lost. Well, assuming he's lost people in Buenos Aires as well. Like, that's probably...
Yeah, he's lost his family. He's been doing terrible things.
Yeah, well,
he's psychic,
exactly.
so he's sensitive to what's kind of going on in people's
They get it
heads.
all out by like shooting bugs. He gets it all out by like fucking,
torturing arachnids. to
Yeah,
death,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Because he's the kid who
pulls the wings off flies and shit.
Well, that's the bit. I think that there's a really great summation of this film is when he reads the bug's mind and he says it's afraid and they all cheer.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
It's done. But they've gone to the centre of its society and pulled it out and stuff. And
Yeah. That was a sort of harp sound there.
Yeah, so this is like a bunch of fucking
God,
kids.
yeah.
It's horrible.
Well, that girl looks like she's got
What's
the
she
face
she's
of
wearing?
a 40-year-old.
She's wearing like an enormous black nappy. As well. I think that's River Phoenix back there.
Are you
He's not
incontinent? Are you dead? Turn up.
I think that's the thing that sort of drill sergeants and market sellers have in common. It's just being really loud and incomprehensible.
Yeah.
Come and get your pants,
You just sort of hand over money and you're not quite sure
what you've done.
you get a bag of cherries or something and it costs you more than it really should have. And...
Oh, Matt, there was the Starship Troopers, the Roughneck Chronicles, the animated TV show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you not remember that? It followed not long after. I think it had a few seasons. I think I never really got it. It used to be on like Saturday mornings or whatever, and it was about Rico, and it's called like the Roughneck Chronicles. Separate, I think, to the canon. But it was quite popular. It's well regarded as one of those things that was made completely out of CGI when, let's face it, probably the world wasn't really ready for it. But it was quite well regarded among those who...
Is this a sort of... I mean, was this part of that kind of like people thought it was made for kids?
Well, hey,
toys of it and shit.
I don't remember about toys, but there was an animated series, and RoboCop got an animated series.
Yeah.
I think the tone of this is kind of because it's really fucking gory, but the tone of it isn't as nasty as say RoboCop. RoboCop's quite an oppressive tone a lot of the time, whereas this is quite light-hearted despite being.
Well, it's adult.
Violent.
It's adult, but it's not mature, I suppose. If that makes sense.
That's it. I mean, that's part of its kind of design. 'Cause it's supposed to be sort of dumb and gauche and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like she immediately gets a Radcheck scene here where a captain dies. Great sort of this great spaceship crash.
Yeah.
People getting because like scenes of people getting sucked out into space is always fucked up. I think they show it's kind of like because like ships have those kind of doors that seal
Automatically
to stop water rushing. They kind of show that because that's how the captain gets got, isn't it? She gets caught in kind of like the.
Oh yeah.
Really great performance from her. Like again, what I've resolved. I probably saw her for The Walking Dead, but I just think she's really good and she really sells these scenes.
She's an actress that has cropped up in a lot of stuff over the years. Yeah, she's probably got that. She's probably got the best of.
Oh, Mamma mia!
Oh. Was that really necessary, Paul?
My pelvis really hurts.
Yeah. That's a bit of a stock. Yeah. You just hear it from behind the door.
Over that shot.
Yeah. This is poo floats out. Sorry, it's so fucking immature.
Oh god! All the worst of the worst of Jackson and Casey.
Yeah. Jackson and Casey,
Detectives
poo finders.
Right. Poo finders.
Scatological masters. Not really master. I shouldn't use the term master. Oh yeah, look, their little escape thing pooped out. Or that sort of thing. I mean pooped out.
Again,
they look very Flash Gordon-y, don't they? All that stuff looks very kind of campy.
It's very good at evoking a number of different things. I think it pays visual homage to a number of different things. And you just think the number of... I think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this film had some kind of record at the time for the number of visual effects shots.
Okay, yeah.
There's an absolute... I mean, that looked like a special effect, that was a practical. But there's so many visual effect shots in this, obviously with the bugs and the spaceships and stuff. And I think it was some kind of record at the time.
Okay. I know Independence Day had and still has the record for the biggest number of miniatures.
Miniatures in that film.
And they reckon
crazy,
that'll always be because
yeah, no one's going to do that
no one's
again.
going to do it again. Yeah. I could fucking do that.
Blade Runner, the new Blade Runner had a load of miniatures. The new Blade Runner had a load of miniatures.
Wouldn't she be frozen and shatter?
Apparently not.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's not true because it acts like it's like, you know, a thermos has a vacuum around it.
Yeah.
It acts like an insulator basically. So apparently any vapor on like the surface of your body would boil, like your tongue,
saliva in your mouth, and seemingly you survive longer than you'd probably like as well. In space, which is absolutely horrible.
I think you die more of suffocation, don't you, than anything else.
I think you can cause your lungs to explode if you go up, because if you don't breathe out on the way out.
Right.
But then it's just kind of like, how will I die? Well, I could prolong this, I suppose.
Horrible.
Yeah, what a lovely thought. Sorry, let's go back to poo. This is a slightly grim left turn. I think it's got a Nokia 3310. Yeah, my new girlfriend's dead, so you want to come here?
I need another vagina.
Vagina. I'm a irresponsible hotshot sometimes, I guess.
What was that thing? It was that E equals MC vagina. Have you seen that?
What?
I'll play it to you after this remote.
Okay, all right. What the fuck that is?
It's like a 10-year-old YouTube video of this guy who used to do this stupid rap thing where he's like, vagina. Oh, I'll play it to you, but I don't want to reenact it. Fucking.
Okay.
Let me grab you. Let's do some autoerotic asphyxiation.
She likes being choked. Let's do some choking. Uh-oh. That's cool. Kind of be provided for when you...
I love how he has to show himself the knife when he takes out, like...
Yeah.
Is it a knife?
It's just to set up the thing later, isn't it, when he slices the bug's leg off or whatever. But yeah, just looking at it, it's definitely a knife. It'd be good if it's, oh no, I got a fork back.
It's like a spoon in there. Knifey
see you play knifey spoon in the bar. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
The breath on that thing. I watched fucking the end of Jaws of Revenge the other day. God, it's terrible.
Yeah, Jaws 3's great though.
No.
it is. It's the most outwardly, it's the most fun, terrible Jaws film. They love impaling legs.
Yeah.
I think that's a different rifle to the standard one, is it? Or, oof.
Well, it might be. Maybe the sort of space division of the...
These things, you know, like there's a real... It's funny actually, I've never seen... you see Colonial Marines and stuff at cosplay all the time. I've never seen Starship Troopers Marines. That'd be a really cool cosplay. I'm certain people have done it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that does look like a sort of, with the best will in the world, like a not an easy thing to replicate, but if you can do a stormtrooper or you can do a...
Yeah, if you can people will like vacuum form plastic at home and paint it up and stuff. So if you can do that, you can do that. It's one of those things though, when you're walking around in the middle of fucking July at a con and it's like baconly hot, I see people like that and I just want to give them water. It's like, are you sitting down and hydrating? Because I just don't want you to die. Any Darth Vader or whatever, it's like, mate, have a sit down. Too fucking lazy to cosplay, man. Jesus Christ.
No, I wouldn't. I'd do it for a fucking living, mate. I don't need...
Yeah, it's a bit of a busman's holiday.
Yeah. Dress up as another thing.
We are the bugs for the best movie. Would you like some tea?
There's a musical number cut out of this. This final scene.
Oompa loompa doobity dogs. We are a bunch of smelly bugs. What do you get when you guzzle down brains? Eating as much as a crate?
Large freight train. Famous, of course, for their voracious diet.
So those bugs have tried to prepare a little song for it. What do you think of that, you twat? I don't like to look of it.
So this
jazz
is
number.
Yeah, nice. So there's a bit of interesting lighting in this rather than kind of usual flat.
Yeah.
It's a bit more atmospheric, obviously atmospheric as compared to the rest of the film. They just knew. Oh, yeah, that's right. Doogie Howser tells him, doesn't he? Doogie Howser guides him there psychically.
Ah, okay,
So he goes like, maybe you had a little help, and gives him a wink or whatever.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am here.
Whoa. Get him, Felly.
Who said that?
He did. I was saying Boo Earns.
Boo Earns.
Boo Earns, sir. They're saying Boo Earns.
Here we go. It's a big sort of
vaginal fucking
water
nuts.
bubble gun with a fanny on it.
Nut sack with a vagina. Bring the nut sack.
I love those. They're great at using those in the propaganda broadcasts. Those censored bars. So like
Oh,
the
yeah,
cowbell
yeah.
cord, and there's a bit where the dude just walks up and shoves that thing in the brain.
Oh
bug's
yeah,
mouth.
yeah. And it just misses it or something, doesn't it? Or,
Well, he shoves it in this horrible probe, and then it goes to censor.
So that's right.
And it squeals.
yeah.
Look
So
at
why
that.
did he pass her the knife? Because she just cuts its thing off, doesn't she?
Yeah, which he probably
could have done that and saved himself a lot of.
Nice practical there on the close up.
Yeah. Ugh.
This is so grim. It just goes straight in.
Yeah.
Ooh, Elliot. I saw someone in a YouTube comment section recently, which shan't be named, but they were trying to argue that E.T. is a quote-unquote forgotten film.
What?
It's like it's one of the biggest cultural touchstones in cinema of probably the last 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Saying it's forgotten. It's had numerous re-releases. You know, you're commenting on a video about E.T.
Oh,
Sorry,
so gross.
it's vaguely related to this because I just made an E.T. joke, but I was just like, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Ooh.
Doesn't it goes redder like a fanny.
Because it's the way his face kind of shrinks. Oh, look at that. That looks sore.
It's vulva, if you like.
It's vulva, yeah. That will
Kind
happen in
of
the
goes.
morning. Yeah, look, it's engorged.
Ew.
Yeah, cut your proboscis off. How'd you like that?
Yeah.
There's a custard came out.
Right in the proboscis.
Oh, it really hurts. Go on, kill it with a knife. Something bugging you?
Space Toblerone, anyone?
Spoblerone? Yeah, fuck you, Brainberg.
Isn't that a nuke or something?
Yeah, it's like a mini nuke.
Yeah.
So I think Gabriel from The Walking Dead sacrificed himself, doesn't he?
Oh, that's right.
To take out the hive or whatever. Or whatever.
I'm out of here.
Oh my
Got a
god.
big asshole as well.
He's
Wasn't that
looking
Kevin
for
Smith's
something,
thing about
asshole.
the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park? It's like there's no assholes. Like there's always shots underneath of them. None of them have a butthole.
Never heard that, but it never occurred to me.
Yeah.
It's like people are kind of like, well, actually, they'd have feathers. And it's like, yeah, they probably have rector as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind.
It's almost like it's a fantasy film, you know. Oh, right in my dick.
Oh, that hurt. So I think there's muzzle flashes. I would assume those are kind of optical effects.
Is that the Walking
or-
Dead guy
or,
who just got
visual-
slashed?
Yes.
So that scar is prescient that he's got.
Oh
across
yes, now here's a bigger one.
It's like Jason Isaacs in Event Horizon has that scar down him, and that gets reopened. That must be a thing, right? A tropey thing that
I guess,
scars
yeah.
being reopened. And
So I remember, so in RoboCop, see the muzzle flashes. I'm not sure if those are visual effects or not. In RoboCop, they're practical, and it's something to do with the type of ammunition you use, and then the frame
Yeah.
rate you shoot.
that's right, yeah, because you
Yeah.
have to basically be in sync with the gunfire to
yeah,
catch it.
so
Yeah.
it's sort of like syncing up a frame rate when you film a display. You have to have it at the
There's
right.
lots of examples like you can see in a lot of films. I think even in this there were bits where it was clearly firing, but there was no
Yeah,
muzzle flash
right.
of it, or
Okay.
you catch the end of it or something. Yeah.
In RoboCop, it's designed to evoke the flaming torches from versions of the Frankenstein myth.
Okay.
So, you know, when they chased him down, it's supposed to look like the villages of flaming torches.
Right,
That's supposed to
right.
be, that's a Frankenstein reference, that scene.
Gotcha.
So they specifically filmed the muzzle flashes to reflect that.
Nice. I think when you've got enough people firing, it's like you'll see them. Like in that scene where he's being shot at in the car park, it's like there's enough light of them going off that you'd probably pick it
So
all up.
there's quite actually the SWAT team and the OCP SWAT team and the mobile infantry, fairly similar outfits.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, they're different. You know, there's more militaristic. They're grey, but it's kind of a similar thing. You're able to make if you unlock enough stuff on Rainbow Six Vegas 2, you can make an OCP SWAT cop.
And can you?
Yeah, me and my mate Nick used to play online, and we made OCP cops that we used to play.
I used to make mine look like Jack Bauer, or try to.
Yeah.
But basically by de-rigging him completely, so he had no like helmet or anything.
I had two. I had an OCP cop, and I had Mike from Space. It seems to be really easy to make Nick Frost. Like a kind of obviously hench muscled Nick Frost.
Yeah, that looks a bit plastic fantastic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, bear in mind, this is even pre-prequels, isn't it? This is like...
Yeah, right, yeah. I mean, they were underway on those, but they didn't come out for like another year. Yeah, it's one of the weaker creations, I think, because it's not supposed to be armoured, it's kind of gelatinous.
Yeah. Anything where it had to have skin and stuff just didn't quite... and it's shown up by the fact that, you get these close-ups of... See, this was his typical CIA bullshit channel.
Oh, yeah.
That guy. So it sounds like it's eking out farts.
It's queefing out of there. Queef. So yeah, the music here is more in common with Total Recall. It's funny. It's a halfway house between Total Recall and RoboCop, really. Not that there's anything that Basil Polidoris ever did.
Yeah.
He used to act in classic Star Trek. Basil Polidoris, and various other things. Yeah, weirdly. So he used to play He played a red shirt a bunch of times, and like some Romulans and stuff. He's passed away now, bless him.
So, like, I love the way she's just like absolutely fine, even though she's gonna
He's
fuck
just got
him.
impaled for the shoulder.
Bearing in mind that like her shoulder blade must be shattered, like her whole.
I mean,
like,
the man got his legs off and demanded to be shot to death. But she's just like,
that'll heal up nicely. Sun in your eyes, is it, Denise? So when people are lit a certain way, you can see like the fuzz on their face from where they shave, like where they shave down,
right.
like that.
There you go. So Zim's back, and he's
Yeah.
so he's like a private now. I think they say. So it's kind of because this
Demoted.
could in theory tee up he was supposed to be in the second movie, but fucking glad he wasn't.
It is a massive jump down, isn't it? The second film in terms of budget and everything. It's like, why didn't they have more money for it?
I wonder. I'm not totally clear on the profit this film made.
Right.
So maybe it just wasn't worth their while. But when it's kind of like, we'll make one for $5 million, it's like, okay.
I just seem to remember this thing getting kicked around town and not being particularly well regarded at the time. But
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of people just didn't understand it when it came out. They just viewed it as like a fascist propaganda thing. Look, this
at
horrible
that,
thing goes up inside it.
don't worry, you won't feel a thing till I jam this down your throat. Time for a booster. Look at that.
It's the state of the art bang bang.
Well, it looks like the Sulaco from Aliens, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, nice.
Which
well,
was
Sulaco
modelled on a
looks
gun.
like a I can't remember the name of the shotgun. That shotgun.
Oh, Spaz or whatever.
Spaz 12, yeah.
Spaz
It's
12,
kind
yeah.
of like a Spaz 12.
I feel bad
Wanna
saying
live
that.
forever.
And then that's the charge thing, is that you want to live forever? It's like, no, let's gallantly run to our death.
Let's die like all our friends.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's like Prince. Those spaceships run on the essence
On
of Prince.
Purple Rain.
Purple rain, purple rain. Would you like to know more? I do like to hear the would you like to know more guy's voice turn up and stuff, because it does from time to time.
It's the would you like to know more guy.
I like the there's a meme. It's a picture of Johnny Rico, and it just says underneath in brackets, desire to know more intensifies. Yost Vacano. Yeah, so John Davison was the Only Good Bug is a Dead Bug guy.
Right.
He's quite funny. He's this really nerdy dude. Because they interview him on the Robocop extra stuff. He's really nerdy. He's this kind of like dorky dude with glasses. He's like really got loads of kind of nervous energy. It's quite sweet. Like you see him talk. Okay. But then he's produced some like horrifically violent films. So you got Phil Tippett, Scott Anderson. I don't know why I'm doing that.
Basil Polidoris.
Basil Polidoris. This is the kind of Robocop ends on this font as well. I'm sorry to be that drilled down to that level, but it's a weird. Maybe it's just what Verhoeven likes. I don't know. But,
I guess.
Kind of very stark.
I think it's one of those things where if you choose to make them a companion piece, you can. You don't have to. But I like the idea that
there's just world. Too much. There's too much for them to not be.
Yeah.
I mean, stylistically, in terms of intent, font. Yeah, Seth Gilliam. He's your Walking Dead guy.
I think the problem with it, like films like this and films like RoboCop, is it's like when you try and sequelize them, it's just, I mean, RoboCop more so, but even with this, it's like unless you're going to carry that on, that
it's
kind of
hard to
idea.
know what you've got to say, really.
Well, quite, yeah, exactly. Dean Norris, that's
Dean Norris, yes, your man. It's kind of, it's sort, and people always go like, oh, but it's such a broad universe. It's kind of like, well, is it? I mean, because it wasn't really the universe that I was interested in. It was the characters and their situation.
Yeah, the metaphors and stuff, and it's like you can't really carry that forward because you've kind of said, you know, at that point you then have to start taking it seriously. I mean, that's the problem with something like RoboCop 2 manages actually to do it in quite a sly way, but certainly RoboCop 3 is like, it's just this sort of weird, stark, like doesn't understand really what any of that was about, or doesn't appear to.
And it feels like, you know, budgets have been stretched and people have been pulled in 10 different directions and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I do like that Ed Neumeyer, this is like, Starship Troopers is his thing, that he's kind of kept under his stewardship for ages and whatever, and I guess he works at Sony, I believe he does. Vic Armstrong.
Hey.
But it's nice. I mean, do I want to watch him necessarily? Not really. You couldn't pay me to watch the animated ones, really. Starship Troopers 3 was kind of fun, but you can kind of see the cracks. It's got loads of fun stuff in it. Starship Troopers 2, which I think he wrote as well, is just not good. You know, it's just this miserable experience.
Yeah, I couldn't really get through it. So.
Tio. Corporal Bronski played by Tio.
Dio.
Tio. Bid part come, then you go. Look, that medic is played by Eric Dare, who has a small A in his small A and small E. These are strange. Dickie Beer. These are strange credits. Michael Papa John, founder of the Papa John's Pizza. Probably or something.
Yeah.
Probably or something. Dormish Vandermeulen.
Jack Wolpach.
Yeah, this is definitely into. I haven't missed just reading credits. I gotta say, but it's kind of necessary part. You got to give the peoples that value, that sweet value for money, eh?
Yeah. Stephen Hunter, flick. Go flick.
On the flick. Hedgepath. Yeah, so, you know, Starship Troopers, it's a good, fun time. I like it. It's crazy and fun and it's big, and we've never really talked about it in detail before, have we?
No.
I think it's one of those things we were kind of holding off on and meaning to get round to, and, you know, finally we have. Considering the multiple times we've talked about RoboCop, you know, it seems only fair.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is interesting to look at it in that sort of light as well. And also in the kind of light of modern times and stuff, because it does actually have quite a... There's a sort of odd, especially with that thing with the guy says, frankly, I find the thing of a bug offensive or whatever. That's oddly sort of reminiscent of things like Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns. It has that kind of vibe about it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it was funny because they chose Miller to do RoboCop 2 based on kind of Ronin and Dark Knight. And it's just odd that because he shares devices with Verhoeven in that film, so like particularly the use of televisions and, like, say, news media and stuff is something that they both did independently of each other. So, you know, yeah, it does have that kind of Frank Miller kind of thing to it, you know. Oh, so much credits, so many credits.
Yeah, it's not quite like you've got all the... I suppose you do have animators, yeah, but...
Yeah, I mean, there's a ridiculous number of visual effects shots in this, and particularly for the time as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's a lot of nice practicals. But there's, like I said, this was one of the first things. So Ain't It Cool News got a leaked creature design, and that was one of the first kickoffs between the internet kind of, you know, quote-unquote reviewers or journalists versus the studios.
Right.
I can't remember if it got legal or whatever, but, you know, that's going all the way back to, like, 97.
Wow.
But that's before. But then now it's sort of like the days of pirating music, where it used to be, you know, illegal Napster, and now the music industry realised, well, actually, why don't we just offer this ourselves and charge for it? So now everyone's on Spotify or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's what people wanted, you know. And now the relationship between studios and reviewers is different. It's like, you know, they invite them to junkets and da-da-da-da. Internet reviewers, I mean.
Yeah, they've had to get them on side, I suppose.
Well, yeah, because they're going to exist, and it's just they have to change with the times, you know.
Yeah.
Whether they like it or not. Bill Ball. Bill Ball Baggins. Welcome to Credits Watch on Valverde Broadcasting.
The credits No.
Negative supervisor. Why do you need a negative supervisor? Get a positive supervisor. Always complaining. That's their job. Sorry.
Fucking negative.
Oh, I hate supervising here. It's awful. Every production needs a negative supervisor.
Sounded like Matthew Buckman. Awful.
He might be listening to this.
Yeah. Hello, Matt. Do you? Sorry, I don't know if you like abbreviations. Apologies. If you don't.
I don't know if he does listen to our show. I worked with Matt once. Or Matthew. Don't know, he might do. He might do.
David Cornelius. He sounds intelligent. Well, he's an electrical engineer, he'll have to be, wouldn't he?
So this is really bottom of the
Fucking
barrel
bottom of the
credits.
barrel. It's like, come on, credits. They're very slow credits.
Sorry, everyone.
Why can't this be like ITV on a fucking, just before the ad break, where the credits go into a tiny little box
and
go
fly.
flying through the credit.
Yeah. Because, we just had ILM come up in Marin County, California.
That's not a name. SXOTT. What does that mean?
There are some crazy names
Sock.
in these credits. You'd be stunned to learn I've never read the credits for Starship Troopers before.
What?
I don't even watch the film. I printed them out.
Zoran.
I read them on the train.
I want to be called Zoran.
Zoran.
KK Elastic.
I am Zoran. Asteroid grazing visual effects sequence by Bass Films. Man, shit, there's a lot of different companies.
Here you go, boss.
Yeah, you go, boss.
There you go, boss.
Yeah, you go, boss.
Yeah, they keep leaving massive gaps. There's like one has to have its own gap in the whole thing. It's like, come on, just get on with it.
It's quite a large font for
Yeah.
a credit sequence.
Oh.
There you go.
That's
Okay. Amalgamated Dynamics. So those guys ended up taking over on the Alien Predator stuff.
Yeah.
And they've done various other things. And I think was it Alec Gillis? One of those two actually played Xenomorphs quite a lot, didn't he?
Tom Woodruff, I think.
Tom Woodruff.
Yeah. Brian Cox did it in the mechanical department.
Oh, the universe is amazing.
Folks, amazing.
Props are infinite.
If I take this ball and throw it across the room, the same as a bucket,
Professor Brian Cox
and his
Things-
magic sock.
can only get better.
Brian Griffin, the cartoon dog from the TV show Family Guy there. Man, these are credits. That's the second time we've had matte paintings credited. Like,
I know,
they've clearly
already.
farmed out different sections of the film to different groups and companies.
Yeah.
Federal Network Graphic Design and Computer Image created by a band from the Ranch Entertainment. That's long.
Yeah.
24-frame computer and video displays and digital graphics by video image. Oh my god.
Now music. Okay, right. Great.
Great. Who's still here? Who's still here? Are you still here? If you're still here, put in the credits. I'm still here, like Alice Beer. And I won't send you a prize, but I'll definitely give you an internet high five. And particularly if you remember who Alice Beer is. Look at that, produced by Zoe Polidorus. Written and performed by Zoe Polidorus. Oh, that was the pop song that I said was rubbish. It was Bowie and Eno. I missed that somehow. Oxford Town.
Oh.
Okay. So Zoe Polidorus, some clearly family member.
Was that the girl on stage in the dance
could have
thing?
been. Yeah, it was
performed by, yeah.
Maybe it's his daughter or something. Or
I would hope so.
Or his wife. My wife.
His collab.
Oh, fucking
more.
Jesus. Okay, South Dakota, Wyoming.
Orange County.
Oh, Wyoming. Oh, I did read a lot of bits of this film, Wyoming. So
He was shot in Adidas, apparently.
shooting Adidas. They originally approached Puma. Shooting in Adidas.
Can we shoot in you?
Can we shoot
In one of your shoes?
I don't even know what that means, but yes.
You not heard of the old woman who lived in a shoe?
I hold an old woman, lived in a shoe, so, you know.
Yes, and I want to be the director who directed in a show.
I directed in a show. American show.
Yeah.
That is
a lot of
not-
drugs where you're from, are they?
Yes, yes. Pulverhoven.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Starship Troopers.
I hope you enjoyed that commentary, people. Obviously, we seriously ran out of steam towards the end there.
Yeah, credits were hard work. I won't lie. The credits were hard work. I'm not going to lie. But it's a great movie. You should watch it. And I hope you made it to the end and left a comment about Alice Beer in the comments.
Yes.
That would be obtuse and fun thing to do.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for watching or listening. And we will catch you again on the next commentary, which will be to Mr. Black.
Mr. Black!
So look out for that one. Till then, cheery bye.
Okay, thanks, bye. Support your 7th or 8th favourite YouTube channel by buying crap, tat, junk, hogwash and filth at redbubble.com/people/Valverde shop.